And hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 8. Definitely 8. It's definitely 8, I hope. But it's,
I think so. That's what I put down.
Yeah, it's episode 8 of the fully rendered podcast. We've got quite a cool show for you today. Can I just say, guys, as well, I'm really glad we're here together. I was talking about it earlier on my stream, because I've been streaming Diablo 4 today, and I was like, oh, it's the podcast layer, and it's genuinely my favorite bit of content that I make at the moment.
It's the only content I'm doing this week.
Really? Fair. That's dedication.
Same. Actually, I've been taking a week off of streaming, so this is the only thing I'm doing this week.
Aww.
Be back next week.
We're just here to hang out with you.
Yeah.
I just want to hang out with you guys.
With you guys.
We get to hang out.
With you.
Sip rum. Talk games and industry, and each year has his massive
water
jug.
and cleaner in a can. It doesn't taste that good.
Oh, my massive
Oh.
jugs.
From Monster, it does not taste that good.
Ooh.
Do not recommend.
I really like the mango one, but now I'm also in two minds about whether or not I should drink
the
Monster.
mango one. I bought a case of 24 at Costco, my first time at Costco, for £9.
For £9.
24 mango Monster.
Ooh, that's sexy.
I don't think I've had the mango one. I like the strawberry one, but I like strawberry everything.
I don't think I've tried the strawberry one.
Yeah, the
I
mango.
don't usually like Monster, but the mango one's got skulls on it, so I bought it, and it's actually quite nice.
I went to a liquor store earlier. I was going to try on dresses. That's why we're late today. It's because of me, guys. I'm sorry. It's because of me. And I was like, oh, there's a liquor store over there. I'm a little sleepy. I'm gonna go grab something. And it was just wall to wall, like liquor everywhere. Usually, like it might just be like a corner store. I was like, oh shit, do you guys have anything in here? And they're just point to the smallest panel in the back where they just had, and I hadn't seen this flavor before. It's the Ultra Citron, and this can looked legitimately disgusting when I got it, so I had to wipe it off, and it tastes like cleaner. So it could be actually the hand sanitizer I used, but
It could
who
possibly
knows?
be. Possibly. But I
You get
think-
it. You getting shoes in a bag with that dress?
Anyway.
But it's quite funny because obviously that tweet that I put out saying, oh yeah, it's going to be delayed because of women's things. And I was obviously being facetious, but it turns out it was. So yeah,
it was for women's things.
Yeah, that's a good thing to start with then. So wedding dress. Did you manage to land on a
Wait,
choice?
you're getting married?
What
are you gonna tell
What?
us? We've been on a podcast with you for ages.
I went to go meet up with my mom, and I checked out some dresses, and I think I got nailed down into one I want, but I'm gonna wait until next month when my fiance's mother and my bride's maid of honor, who's Bradley Suicide. So like one of my friends I met through Suicide Girls is gonna be my maid of honor. So I just have to have them sign off on it.
Right.
And it's not hoey like you asked. It's not. It's
I
actually
didn't
very
say hoey.
classy.
I specifically said slutty.
That's up for debate. It could be slutty. I can make it slutty.
Cut a couple of holes in it in the front. That's it. Just done.
Just go like a Mean
5
Girls
minutes.
where you cut the holes in the boobs and just have like the tits out the whole time.
Well, that's
And it's gonna be cold on the boat, so they'll just be pointing in different directions. Maybe they'll point down the aisle for me so everyone knows where to look.
way back in the day. That's how some dresses were designed. It was like basically a corset, and you had your wabs out, and it was just like, "Hi, how you doing? Are we going to dinner? Should we go to the
I'm
ball?"
sorry, did you just call them wabs?
I did call them wabs.
Please never call them wabs.
I have many
My
colloquialisms.
My mom called them bazungas in the bridal shop.
Bazungas.
It was very cute.
When I was a kid,
She's great though. She's great. She's like, she just speaks her mind. She was like, well, you're just like falling out all over the place. You got your bazungas out. You could be wearing shapewear. It's like, yeah, I mean, now everyone knows.
yeah, when I was a kid, I once described them as twin airbags. Like I was less than 10 years old, and like my family heard me say it, and they wouldn't let it drop for a very, very long time. So
To this
breasts
day.
were just twin airbags forevermore.
Twin airbag.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, she's got twin airbags, so yeah, it's fully installed as standard kind of thing. But
ABS.
ABS, yeah, full suspension.
I mean, they might deploy at any moment. You have no idea.
Just hit you in the face and give you whiplash. Anyway,
I mean, that's what they give me all the time.
I can imagine, only imagine. But so Peachy,
So this is the 8th episode of the podcast.
Yes.
We're going about boobs at the intro.
boobs, yes. And if you turn an 8 on its side,
it's always gonna come to boobs
It's
when I'm around.
boobs!
it's boobs.
It's a boob centric episode.
It's also
boobs.
infinite boobs.
That it is. That it is. Peachy, you mentioned you went to Costco.
Oh my god,
Your first
Costco!
ever trip to Costco.
Yeah, well,
How was that? Did it blow your mind?
It absolutely blew my tiny little British mind. Oh my god. It like, okay, so this streamer Domestic Dan, he's like, go to Costco. And I had to get a hot dog as well, which I did. Don't worry. But I was like, I don't
It's a
really need.
warehouse.
Oh, also the trolleys make you feel like a tiny little person because they're like the biggest trolleys ever.
They're gargantuan.
And I'm like, why are they so big? And I got in there and went, oh, that's why. I've just
because everything is trolley sized.
Just grab a toilet while you're on your way out. It's great. Just grab a toilet.
So have you never been to?
I don't have a Costco membership. It's like I live in an apartment, and it's like, yeah, the concept of getting like industrial sized toilet paper and paper towels sound like a wonderful idea, but where the fuck am I gonna put it?
Right. I've been to.
My Grogthar hammer, what a savings! I'm telling you, like, yeah.
I literally watched that without question.
No way.
My Grogthar. Quick, we have to get out of here before one of those things kill Guy.
Yeah, I've been to Macro before, which is like the British version of Costco before Costco came over here. So we used to go to Macro a lot to do grocery shopping.
I think there's more magic in Costco. I'm going to be honest with you.
I imagine there is. Yeah.
It's so big. You could get literally anything there. There you have a clothing section. Yeah, they're like the electronics are there. You could get your glasses there.
Oh yeah, they had an automaton,
Well, I mean, a lot of stores.
They had an optimist when I walked in. They were like, "Hey, everything's great."
Do you mean an optician?
Like Walmart and Target.
I do mean an optician.
I feel like Walmart and Target also have optometrists, so like it's not really that unusual. But from what I understand, it's a lot more inexpensive to go to Costco. Like I said, I bought a membership once. It was a long time ago. It was when I first moved in this apartment, so years ago, and I was, another relationship go to, and we both went once because we brought all the shit home. We didn't even buy that much. So you only buy like 4 things. You already spend over $100 sometimes, and we bring it all home. We're like, where the fuck are we supposed to put this shit? And I had like my mom going like, oh well, we'll go together and we'll share, like we'll split everything. That bitch didn't fucking like commit at all. She just kept saying, I don't want to carry it home, and I'm like, you know what, that's fair.
There is a lot.
For half though, right? Well, I've got like a massive chest. We didn't end up going to the store ever again because
it was hard to like lock down a schedule. So
I
saved that bitch with love because that's my mother, and I'm the only one who could call her that.
You're saying
I do have storage space for Costco shopping, and
that's good.
I prefer bulk shopping because it is cheaper, but Costco is just a level above.
Right.
You can buy like a year's worth of toilet paper for yourself.
I could buy a fridge to put it in if I wanted to. Like they have everything. Yeah. Brian, it's magic. It's like adult capitalism.
We'll have to take him to a Costco. When he comes out,
I'll have to go sometime.
We'll take you to the magic of Costco
and try the
and
hot
you need
dogs.
to have a hot dog,
and then we'll lose him in the process.
I'll just disappear. I'm like,
and that's
bye
not
guys.
Us being dicks. It's very easy to get lost in a Costco.
Is it like IKEA? You follow the path, and if you go off the path, you're gone.
I think IKEAs are bigger because IKEAs are like made like they look like a maze, in my opinion. Like I've been to IKEA a lot. I have IKEA furniture, and I like to buy dishes from there actually. But the way they're like set up is like they want you to go a certain path, so it's more like narrow corridors.
Yeah, you can't really tell how big it is because they send you all the way around.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I think IKEA is easier to get lost in, whereas Costco, it's literally a warehouse. It's giant, but all of them are like all the departments. You can still kind of like maybe if you're 7 feet tall, can see over.
Right.
You know, you can see from the optometrist into the electronics.
No, and it looks like all the one I went to with like floor to
maybe
ceiling.
I went into a low class one because I am low class.
About the size of like triple floor. It was.
Oh, the aisles.
Wonderful.
No, the aisles are like big.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like the optometrist. Like you can kind of like see into the electronics section. The one I used to go to had the whole center section was just all clothes and books and movies and stuff like that, but it kind of looked more like tables sort of than anything. I couldn't tell, like they're all so short, it was easier to see over them. Did you get samples?
They have. Oh yeah, they had sample. I didn't try
So
any.
many samples.
I got a bit of a cold, and I didn't want to interact with people.
That's very considerate of you, actually.
No,
mad
that's
respect.
normal. People should normally do that.
Yeah.
We're Americans.
You're American.
We don't like
damn
it. Do you know how many fucking places in America we had COVID outbreaks because people just did not want to wear a mask
Right.
or wash their hands?
So there's this brand, like their in-store brand. It begins with a K. I can't remember what it's called.
Or Kirkland.
Kirkland, yeah. And so I'm walking past and I see these golf bags and golf things, and I'm like, oh, Kirkland. Oh, that must be I don't know golf. That must be a golf thing. And I walk along, and then there's Kirkland water, and then Kirkland toilet paper. I'm like, what the fuck is this company?
They're
They do
apparently
everything.
I'm not like drinking right now, so I can't. I never really went to Costco so I could confirm this, but I know a lot of people love like the Kirkland like vodka. I think it was like comparable to like Grey Goose or something like that. It's supposed to be really good.
Nice.
But if you like vodka, so
But
I
yeah,
know
their
like their
alcohol was
alcohol
pretty cheap.
section's pretty good. I know Kirkland is pretty decent. But I'm only coming from like being told that because I don't shop there.
For like $30, I could be playing golf or some shit. Like, that cost, it's mental. It's absolutely
insane.
I assume Costco works in the same way as Macro, where there's no VAT on it because you're technically like a sole trader or a business owner.
No. So
No, okay.
some things are free of VAT. Most things actually aren't, but there are some things in there that and the prices are in like both with VAT and not. So I
Right.
assume if you can prove
Yeah.
you're a business, you can. I don't know. I don't know. I just went in there and
I know
bought so much crap.
businesses use. I think they do have like a business membership or business accounts.
Right.
Because I know like when I used to work in like retail locations and things, like we used to utilize Costco all the time,
Right.
and there's like a specific business account that you can set up. I wouldn't know, but I only knew like when I would like have to re-up on like water and stuff for some of the locations I worked on, I would just go on the website because I used to do like management stuff.
Right. Yeah. Because when I was a kid and we'd go to Macro, my old man would be like, if anyone asks, your dad's a business owner. I'm like, okay, sure. Because you weren't allowed to actually shop there if you weren't a business owner. So,
No,
yeah.
Costco, you need a membership,
Right.
and they I don't know how it is now. I know like with like Instacart and things like because Costco's on my Instacart, but I said there's no storage space, so it's kind of stupid for me to even order from them.
Right.
But so I don't know how that factors in. But back in the day, at least, you needed the membership, and I think for a while like they wouldn't even let you in without one.
Yeah. So
And-
here it's £30 a year for the normal standard membership, and a member can bring in 2 guests.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's not too bad.
And if you need
And as many children as you want, apparently.
Oh, dude, it's America.
Come with me, slaves.
It's America. People have so many children. I hear it's like, oh yeah, I'm one of 8. What? I have
It's a
3 brothers,
vagina,
and I
not a
think that's
clown
excessive.
car. Jeez.
I think my mom having 4 kids was excessive. It's like
Yeah.
some people have so many. I was just I went to go pick up food before when I was on my way home, and yeah, this one woman had like 4 or 5 kids, just like little ones, and I'm sitting there like, God, I really wish I could die right now because they're all screaming, and I just want my Zanku chicken.
Yeah, my
I just want
old
chicken.
man was one of 8 sons.
That's insane.
Yeah. The seed is strong. If you want men, you're getting only men in the
Oh, that's my
Warcraft.
family for
which is my
sure.
family.
I'm the youngest girl in my entire family, and I'm in my 30s for the context. My brothers all have, sons.
Right.
All of them.
Yeah.
Everyone has sons. It's like apparently this family just strictly wants men because I have 3 brothers myself. So and I'm the
Spits them
only
out.
girl.
That's fair.
Oh man, they don't want women. They know that women are the weaker sex, man.
Blamins.
It's probably because
Wham.
they make podcasts late because of wedding dresses and stuff like that.
Oh,
God.
that's fair. You know what? I
Zing.
deserve that.
Literally, we're late because she was buying a dress. Come on.
I think we're okay with it,
Excuse
though,
me.
to be fair. I think we're okay with it. Should we jump into the first topic?
No, I'm not okay. Yes, what is the first topic?
Tears of the Kingdom is
Oh.
good. Who guessed?
Oh my god! Spoiler!
Is it a
It's good.
finished game? Did a company release
It
a
is.
finished game?
They did. They
Oh my
actually did.
god. That's crazy.
There's actually quite a bit of discourse around that because obviously you've had all these other games that come out recently that have just been fucked. And then Nintendo are like, oh, here's our game that isn't.
I mean, say what you will about
kind of thing.
Nintendo can be like big old pieces of shit, but when it comes to like games that they release, like they always do release, like at least within their own house,
Their first party games.
they're always solid.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of reviews. Obviously, I don't own it yet. I'm probably going to hold off because there's rumors that the Switch 2's next year.
Oh yeah, I have my copy. It's in my Switch right now. I haven't played it yet.
Really?
But
I would have been all over it. Like I was tempted to get it, but I want to play it at 60.
So
I might
to share
emulate it.
with the audience what exactly happened, because I was messaging Peachy and Brian like what happened. I bought I didn't buy it. It was a gift. I received the new OLED, the Zelda OLED system. I had my Animal Crossing Island on my SD card and I lost it when I transferred it over. It formatted it. So for the last 2 days, I've been trying to get my island back. So I lost 500 hours of effort. And I completely just didn't even care about Tears of the Kingdom because I was so distraught. But my fiance's been playing it and he's in love with it. He's in the other room right now playing it.
Right. Just to let the chat know, how many Switches do you own now?
4.
4? I thought it was 3. That's even worse.
I have 3. Well, I'm counting his. Counting his.
Okay,
I have 4.
The household has 4.
Wait, you're marrying in so you can get your hands on another Switch. You have a problem.
I just want the other Switch.
That's the plan. Claim them all.
I bought one like a long time ago. Like when I remember, like it was back where like Switches were like elusive, like the PS5. Like you couldn't find them anywhere.
Start of the pandemic.
Yeah, like way back in the day. And I went to like Target and I saw one there, and it was like the blue and red one. I don't want that one. I didn't like the colors, but I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna buy it. I got it. And then the Animal Crossing one came out at the start of COVID. So I managed to get one like in the first run. So I pre-ordered that. And then, so I've been playing on that one. And then, it's also OLED.
That's true. That's true. However,
I don't have an OLED.
Next time you decide, ooh, that's a really nice looking Switch. Maybe I should get a 5th Switch. Just Google the letter D brand, okay? Because they do skins, and you can just skin the one that's the blue and red one.
Stickers.
They do expensive stickers. They're really nice.
But the back part, it's like it's nice and textured, and it's
I
very
replaced mine. I got a kit, so it looks like a Super Nintendo.
I bought a kit actually a long time ago. I was gonna do it for that first one because, like I said, I wasn't really fond of the colors. It was kind of a little bit. Like something my nephew would like more than me. I wanted the gray one when that first came out, and I bought one of those kits, and I couldn't get the screws out. Like they're
fiddly.
I couldn't get them out at all, and I just gave up. I got like this really sick, like iridescent one, and I can't do it.
Rip.
So that's my karma.
They really
what I did is I bought 2 more out of protest. I bought 2 more.
Imagine,
I'll show you. I'll just waste more money.
I can't believe you've done this. I'll buy even more.
Imagine if they did a clear one.
Dude, like the old Game Boys, that would be so cool.
Like
Dude,
Max, Nintendo 64s, all that.
I love the clear cases. They were so sick. The glacier color. Do you remember that? Like the icy blue clear.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Gotta be a big fan of clear tech. But with Tears of the Kingdom, for those who don't know, it's pretty much got 10s across the board. It's very similar to how Elden Ring basically just got every reviewer to love it. I think there's been like 1 or 2 like 4 out of 5s or 9 out of 10s.
Yeah, I saw a 6 out of 10 from I've forgotten the name of the publication. But I read it and I was like, oh, that's fair. You didn't like this. That's what reviews are for, right?
It's kind of like, with the first one I was explaining like my gripe in one like a past episode with Breath of the Wild. Jesus, I can't even remember names anymore.
Breath of the Wind.
Breath of the Wind. What is that?
What is that?
But
that's what you do after Taco Bell.
That's exactly what it is. I was gonna go there, but I was trying to be classy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wedding. She buys a wedding dress and now she's all classy.
I haven't bought it yet. I have to.
I stole
It's expensive. Dude, these dresses are expensive.
Yeah,
I walked
right.
in and I accidentally let it slip from the from the fitting room to my mom. I was like, $2,500.
Damn.
Yeah. So
they are
anyway,
expensive, though.
what I was saying about Breath of the Wild
You're only gonna
was
wear it once. What the?
Hey, she might do some
I
role play.
want
Calm
it.
down.
anyway. So with the dude, you're more upset about that than the venue. The venue is the more ridiculous price.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
that's like literally a haunted ghost ship. That's no.
I know it is true, and you can stay on it. You
I'd
guys
be
can
putting
stay
down
on there.
Benjamins for that. We're good.
Yeah. So anyway, I with Breath of the Wild, I kind of like said it wasn't really my favorite Zelda, even
Right.
though everyone loves it. And it is objectively a great game. But the play style wasn't my favorite because I don't know if I guess the older Zelda still kind of felt linear a little bit, and when they kind of open it up so much, with
I've
my
never
ADHD,
played a linear Zelda in my life. That doesn't exist. That does not exist. Which Zelda game is linear?
Well, they're not open world, basically.
They're not open world. That's what I meant.
Ocarina of Time was. Link to the Past
Yeah,
was.
but you were still told they would like hard lock you into areas like you couldn't go in like so in Ocarina of Time, you couldn't change up the order of the first 3 dungeons, and then when you're an adult, you can actually do the fire temple and the water temple before the forest temple. I've done that before. Like you can switch those up, but you have to do spirit and shadow last. Like that's what I mean. It's like it's kind of linear in that aspect. Like they're kind of locking you into areas.
Whereas in
'Cause you
Breath of the
can't-
Wild and Tears, if you wanted to complete the campaign, you can do it in 10 minutes because you could just go straight to the last boss, or you could just piss off and do whatever you want.
That 6 out of
Right,
5
and-
was saying, was expecting something different because I don't think they, like you, enjoyed the last one.
Right.
So that's
Yeah,
why
I mean,
their review was low, I think.
I did get a lot of hours in though. I still played it a lot, and my only gripe was like I said, I have ADHD, so I don't I have a hard time focusing like on like, oh, well, I'll just go over here. Oh, what's that over? It's just when it's too open for me, I have a hard time like finishing like I never finished the Breath of the Wild campaign. And I never finished Skyrim's campaign, and I've had like 300 hours on my file of like Skyrim, so it's like not for lack of trying.
Yeah.
It's just I'm all over the place. So, but that's a personal gripe. That's that's something I gotta get over on my own. So with Tears
It's
of the
also a
Kingdom,
valid criticism at the same time, because like for some people they do need to be guided to to be put back on the campaign trail, as it were. And obviously Breath of the Wild and apparently Tears of the Kingdom don't do that. So if you do lose track, you're gone, and then you go remind yourself, oh wait, I'm supposed to be saving some bird called Zelda. Better get back to that.
There's
Right.
a princess.
Yeah,
But if
right.
you're having fun doing whatever you're doing,
Oh yeah, no, and like that's not at all criticism like on saying that the game is bad. It's just my personal preference was always a more linear like story or narrative. But when I play it, like I had a lot of fun. I was going everywhere. I just would kind of lose sight of what I was supposed to be doing, and that was a personal problem on my end.
Yeah. Well, from a lot of the reviews that I've seen, there's a lot of things that have been fixed from the previous game. It's a lot less empty. There's something to do basically everywhere. But there's also things where they've kind of doubled down on it. Like people were criticizing that in Breath of the Wild, there wasn't really Breath of the Wild, rather, that there wasn't any dungeons or proper dungeons. You had the shrines, but there wasn't just a dungeon you could just go ham
those are
in.
back for sure.
So they are kind of back. They've made them better. The shrines are still a thing, but they've also added like going slightly into spoiler territory. There are things that you wouldn't expect that are suddenly there, and you're like, holy shit, this is a thing. Like there's stuff they haven't talked about in the marketing at all, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it. I've been avoiding spoilers as much as possible. Like I said, like my fiance's been playing it. He's been in the other room, and I've actually like kind of avoided looking at the TV too much.
Right.
Because I do plan on like I don't play new releases on my stream usually because like I know other people are like wanting to avoid spoilers, and I like to share the experience with people. So with this game, like I probably won't touch it for my streaming experience like for another like week or two.
Yeah.
But I like going in blind. It's always the most fun. It's just going in completely blind until I accidentally Google a spoiler myself,
Right.
and then it's like, well, and whose fault was that? You got curious.
Yeah, that's all on you. Yeah, the
Yeah,
world is huge because you have the original continent, then you've got the stuff
I
above.
have seen a couple of things that are new that are really cool, and I'm not going to spoil what they are, but it's something that I didn't see in the first game that I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, they've also
Pretty neato, if I do say so myself. Yeah.
Sorry, go on, PG.
They have a narrative reason for why the weapons are so crap.
Oh, okay.
It's all the weapons are degraded, and that's why they break after a couple of hits.
Oh, okay.
They've doubled down on everything.
So is it because of like
Dude, you know what I just
evil
do?
presence? That's
yeah,
what's
the world
degrading
has
them?
completely degraded.
You know what I did to get
Right.
around that in the first game is I just bought all them amiibo cards. Like, so every day you go on and just start slapping those amiibo cards on, and because you could do them every single day, and you get a shit ton of free shit from that.
Right.
Made it a lot more enjoyable for me.
I just carry
admit,
around
I'm
all the
a cheater.
weapons I find, and I whenever I upgraded, I always just upgraded to get more weapons, so it wasn't an issue
Yeah.
for me.
The sandbox is apparently really good. That's something they have doubled down on. You can pretty much build everything. I think I saw Gene on Twitter mention that he saw a review or something or a clip where someone had built a giant robot and it had a penis that looked like a dragon.
That's
you,
dope.
Okay.
And you can build that in Tears of the Kingdom,
the
apparently.
penis look like a dragon,
The
or
penis
a
looked like a
dragon's
dragon.
penis?
The penis was shaped like a dragon.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
Penis
okay.
looks like a dragon.
Yeah, amazing. But yeah, I personally won't be playing it until probably next year. We have had a confirmation from Nintendo saying that the Switch 2 will not be this fiscal year, so that's
Good.
April 2024. So it could still happen next year, and that is essentially confirmation that they are working on a Switch 2. It just won't be until April 1st.
I mean, to
technically,
be
at the
fair, they're
very
probably
earliest.
working on the Switch 2 when they were still designing the original Switch, right? Because
Quite
it's
possibly.
a constant thing with hardware.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, who knows with Nintendo, to be fair.
True.
Going from that, speaking of the Switch, the ROG Ally has now been released, and people are really digging it. So ROG, Asus ROG, they have released the Ally. It's kind of like a Stream Deck or a Switch. Windows is native on it. Apparently, it's really fucking good, to be honest. The UI probably isn't as nice as Steam, because you've got like the Armory crate, which is Asus's like proprietary software thing, but it is running Windows natively, and you can get 120 frames per second and stuff like that. And obviously, it's only $50 more than the top end Switch, so it's pretty good compare. Even Steam were like, "Oh, congrats to Asus for releasing the ROG Ally." Like,
That's nice.
Yeah,
It is
I
nice
actually
to
like
see a
doing that.
handheld market be clawed back.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. and
No,
it-
I mean, I kind of was like looking into the Ally like after the last recording, and it does look pretty decent.
yeah.
And
Like,
it makes me happy to hear that it's pretty good.
if I had the
I'm not-
disposable income, I would definitely get
Should I
one.
buy another handheld, guys?
Just not another Switch.
Should I buy another Switch, you
Anything
guys?
but those- No!
No, you can get an ROG Ally because you can play PC
Okay,
games on that.
Emulate
I-
a Switch on it or something.
Yeah, just do that. Just to emulate the Switch. Yeah, for real, which you can
That's true,
do.
you can do that.
That's actually really cool that you can do that. But
We're not recommending that though, allegedly.
No. Yeah, that allegedly you can do it, but not here.
just not in this stream, not right now.
Not here.
Not right now.
No one's emulating anything.
Speaking of
Please don't
that,
sue us, Nintendo.
Nintendo actually have been DMCAing GitHub for the emulators. You know, we were talking a while back when they put Dolphin on Steam. They've actually
Was it GitHub?
Yeah, so GitHub's been DMCA'd for like a bunch of Switch emulators, and Nintendo's reasoning is, oh, we don't think that this is how our game should be played. And it's like, but that's still not how you should be using DMCA. You've basically admitted that you're not using DMCA how it should be used.
Yeah.
Stop being dickhead. So hopefully Microsoft you know what, we're going to challenge this. So fingers crossed they actually do that.
I mean, the only thing is like, all right, so with Nintendo, I'm looking up the Dolphin really fast just because I want to see if it was GitHub. I believe you. Just
It wasn't Dolphin specifically, but there's like loads of Switch emulators.
I want to see who it was.
Yeah.
So this was stitching. okay. I mean, I could kind of. I'm not siding with Nintendo on this. I could see them being a little bit huffy about it when it's the Switch.
They
Which
cannot
is their current
like
gen.
it.
Nintendo
Yeah.
don't like people
They
playing
don't like
their
any.
games.
They don't like.
I
They
don't
don't like
think they
things. that-
like their customers. I
They
think
don't
they
like
hate
their
everything
customers.
about
I'm
what they
more
do.
commenting on like I think when it's a current gen, like I could see them why them being pissy about
It's an emulator though.
current
That's
gen.
not. That's
No, I know it's they can't. They
not.
shouldn't be. They can't really do anything about the emulator.
Yeah.
I was more like kind of like looking at their perspective, like it's their current gen, and like maybe that's probably why. 'cause
I
you don't
can
hear
see
too much
why
about-
they've done it, but they shouldn't be doing it ultimately.
No, they
Like,
shouldn't
That's
be.
not. That's not how you. I mean, when they did it with.
No, I was just kind of like seeing like
games.
how can I yeah, like a little fact about me. It's like I try to like look at things from other perspectives here. So I'm like trying to see like I guess that's the only way I could see the justification, but that's not a justification at all.
Hmm.
They shouldn't be doing it at all. Like
If you
I'm
want to
not
see
at
things
all
from
siding with
Nintendo's point
Nintendo.
of view, you need to go back 50 years.
Yeah.
True.
Like they DMCA'd a bunch of
the DMCA
websites
is
that
so
were-
it's so fucking outdated, dude. It's so archaic, and
yeah. So
that's why these
a while
companies
ago,
and like record
they-
companies are able to utilize it and essentially abuse it. It's just not. It needs to be reworked entirely or like abolished and like with a new system.
Yeah. 100%.
Because when it comes to music with DMCA, the artists don't get the fucking money. It's the recording.
Mm.
It's the recording studios, not the publishers, not the artists. So they're getting screwed no matter what.
yeah.
Right.
So
So
it's
a
not the-
while back, Nintendo DMCA'd a load of emulation sites that were supplying games, which that's
That's
the
fair play.
correct use of DMCA.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they destroyed so many, and they are still all there, and you can still get any Nintendo games you want. So I don't know if
Oh,
they went.
you'll always
"Oh,
be
I'm
able to get them.
done. I'm done.
Speaking of more
Yeah.
DMCAs, they DMCA'd Alanah Pearce while she was streaming, and she was watching Skillup's video, which is PR footage. So they DMCA'd her live on Twitch, which if you DMCA someone live, it bans the channel. So she got banned on
Whoa.
Twitch for playing PR footage. She got it back, but yeah, someone at Nintendo was like, "How dare you!" and then just
They've
DMCA'd
been
her.
doing it on YouTube as well. Just like
Yeah.
people playing their games, which they have stated, which
That's why I
how-
don't play a lot of
what their
Nintendo
rules are
games
to do
on
it,
my
and they've been
channel.
doing-
Nintendo
Nintendo,
is
man.
just they're so litigious.
Yeah.
So I generally do avoid Nintendo games, which sucks because I like, I'm like most normal people. I like Zelda and Mario and shit.
Right.
there needs
But-
to be a law against spurious DMCA claims.
Yes.
like because anyone can just do it. Like there's no
The thing
like
is that with Twitch, like they, in the case with Twitch, and well, actually YouTube as well, is they have the money to figure out like a better system and rework it to prevent that and protect their
Yes
users.
and no, because they have to abide by the DMCA.
No, I know
themselves.
it starts at the foundation where like the DMCA is completely archaic in general. Like it's so old and like it doesn't really work in in a digital age that well.
Yeah, because until DMCA itself has been like the legislation has been looked at and reviewed rather, its platforms or services, as Twitch refer to themselves now, are between a rock and a hard place. Like when obviously the
Yeah.
DMCA
No, I
apocalypse
agree.
happened on Twitch,
I agree with that.
everyone blamed Twitch, and it's like no, they have to do it. They legally are obliged to do it.
They have to do it. I'm saying that they can probably seek out like if we are like this conversation has already been had before in the past when
They could probably lobby and stuff like that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like there is a lot of like they could figure out an easier a better way to work it out. That's what I'm saying. Because when they took the whole like hands off approach, like well,
Yeah,
just turn off the music.
right.
When they were pulling that shit for a while or back in the day, it's like, all right.
Yeah,
to be fair, if you're a streamer and you're playing the latest top hits, like
yeah.
you're an idiot in that situation.
Yeah, no, I agree with entirely. Like I was saying that I was playing Saints Row and that got like all like completely muted, and it was Saints Row the third, like the original version.
Developers are like putting in streamer mode for their audio as well if they've got
Yeah,
stuff.
well,
Right.
older games not so much. They're not there.
Yeah.
in a lot
Well,
of the
yeah,
older games.
yeah.
That so like I mean, but to be perfectly honest, I'm not upset about that. It's when I was playing it, I was like, oh god, this is all gonna be muted.
Yeah.
in the end, it didn't even
Usually
matter.
I just turn off the game's audio and then play my own from because there's services epidemic, etc. There is
Yeah.
way to get music. good music, quality music from many different places.
Yeah, there's a great many now. But speaking of companies being shitty, and Asus.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh boy.
for those who haven't seen the last episode, we were talking about if you have a AMD 7000 chip that is a 3D X3D, that in certain motherboards, but particularly in Asus motherboards, they might explode. And I don't mean like it might blow up your computer, but there'll be a little mini explosion on the CPU that will permanently damage it and potentially the motherboard as well.
With smoke and fire, actual fire.
Yeah. And
mushroom clouds in your computer.
yeah, just a little mini nuclear explosion. But
There you go.
Asus have been a bit hands-offish, to put it politely, and they've done some BIOS updates, and people have been investigating it, and obviously Asus have been investigating it, and they were like, oh, okay, to stop this from happening, because it is predominantly on their boards, you need to download this BIOS, and it will fix it. If you download that BIOS, there is a disclaimer saying, by the way, this also voids your warranty. This is not supported. So you download it, and then you've voided your warranty to fix the issue that shouldn't have occurred in the first place. And they've also been taking off other BIOSes that you may have downloaded before now.
So they're taking the approach of we can fuck you now or fuck you later.
They're doing a
Essentially.
trust us, bro.
That's what it sounds like.
Like, yeah, it's gonna
blow
work.
up your shit without this BIOS update, or whoopsie
BIOS
you lost your warranty.
The BIOS turns off that X02, right? Which is what all the reviews have been using that feature.
Yeah, so the BIOS basically turns off a profile that is basically designed to optimize the configuration of your PC system to run.
And it's pretty good.
Yeah, so it's like a
700 quid board, right?
Yes, like that. The board that we're speaking about. Well, it's multiple Asus boards,
I've
but
been
the
looking
one.
up, what does that translate to the US dollar? Because I'm poor.
So £700, about $850.
850. Okay.
Yeah.
High end.
Yeah.
It's high end. But now it's performing worse than like a 300 quid motherboard without that feature.
So they basically turn something off that usually is on by default, and it's a way of the BIOS going, okay, this is how we make everything configured perfectly to get the most juice out of your system without technically overclocking. It's at most you could describe it as a soft overclock, because if you do overclock your PC, that does technically void the warranty anyway, but it's very hard to find out.
From factory, that's on by default, right? On the original BIOS?
Yeah.
So, and they've been telling people they're overclocking their systems, so they wouldn't be covered on warranty anyway.
Yeah. Some of the worst parts is on Asus's website. If the BIOS that you're using isn't on their website, it's no longer supported. So if you have issues with it, they're like, no, we can't support it. You're using this BIOS. But that's including BIOSes before this new one. So they just took them off the website.
They've removed them. They haven't like blanked them out and said this is no longer supported. They've just removed them from the website.
And not told people about it either. So if you've at some point updated your Asus BIOS and then you go to their website and it's not there anymore, you're shit out of luck. You can't get any support for your motherboard or your PC if you're having motherboard issues from the manufacturer.
For a £700 motherboard.
Yeah. It's
not high-end premium board.
To be clear, it's not just that motherboard. It's a multitude, but the one that Gamers Nexus was using was that 700 one.
What? Yeah. Did you see that they redid all their tests?
Yes.
With it off, and it's scoring so low.
Yeah. So without it on this profile, you lose about 20% of your performance.
Mm-hmm. There's games where you're losing 30. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just lose 20% of your performance to prevent your chip from exploding, which shouldn't be exploding with it on anyway.
So then there's no point in utilizing a chip like that. Just stick with what you probably currently have. If it's
you basically just don't get an Asus motherboard at this point.
that's what it sounds like. It's like, well, what's the point if you're not going to be able to utilize it to its full potential? Then you're just throwing your money away.
And it's
or you could see fireworks.
Yeah, or you could see the little mini.
You want $850 fireworks in your computer? I do.
And it's a shame as well, because obviously, as we joked about in the chat, we were praising Asus because I've used Asus stuff before. I've got an Asus
Oh
monitor,
yeah, we're talking
two
about
Asus
the fully
monitors,
rendered
if
podcast curse.
yeah,
Every
like,
time we give someone
Every time we
praise, they
praise
just,
them.
oh, it's time to fuck up.
yep, they do
Yeah, every
something
time we're like,
crazy.
hey,
Check mark
look
from
at
fully
them. They're
rendered.
doing it good. They're doing it good. Hey, guess what? You know what we're gonna do? Hold my beer. I'm gonna go.
Oh, somebody hold my earrings.
No warranty, sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll put them back in then. Thing. But yeah, so just
You
to,
voided your warranty. God damn it! Put those earrings got back in.
you voided it by or downloading something that we gave you to fix it from exploding.
So stupid.
Yeah, it's incredibly dumb. So just to, again, to summarize, if you have a 7000 series X3D chip and a Asus motherboard, be very wary of what BIOS you're using. Probably try and avoid using it at the moment until the BIOS they put out is a beta. That's how they're trying to cover their backs with it. So probably just wait until.
Yeah, they're pulling an early access.
Well, actually, so don't download the BIOS, the new one, and you haven't touched your original setup. Your warranty is still valid, and they'll replace all the parts.
Yeah, that was another thing as well. So people were reaching out to Gamers Nexus saying, oh, we'll send you our parts so you can test them and get to the crux of what it is. And Asus were reaching out to those customers and then going, oh, you don't have to do that. We'll just replace your shit and give you a bit of extra on top as well. But if you weren't sending your stuff to Gamers Nexus, they weren't making that same offer. So if you were like Jim Bob and Jim Bob was like, hi, I'm speaking to Gamers Nexus, I'm actually sending them my board.
So sketch. It's
yeah, horrible.
Everything's just so sketch.
Really, really anti-consumer. So yeah, I'm probably not going to be using Asus for a while. The motherboard that blew up on my system was an Asus one, by the way. Just saying. But it was probably still my fault. But yeah, just saying. But yeah,
Brian, no one was 100% your fault.
It probably was. It probably was.
But that one was.
No, it probably was, to be fair.
You know what? Now I'm happy I pronounce it Asus.
Yeah.
Now it's just like full on insulting them.
It's Asus from now on. But moving on.
So yeah, be careful about your ROG Ally.
Yeah.
I know. Oh yeah, that puts that into perspective of like what else is gonna fuck. I swear to God, if my keyboard or my laptop just like blows up out of nowhere, I will have phone calls. But my warranty is probably more.
It's probably past. Yeah, just moving on quickly. So the Diablo 4 beta is open this weekend. So for those of you who didn't know and missed the early access and the open beta back in March, I want to say, it is open until like 12 a.m. PDT Sunday. So if you want to get it played and have a play with it.
Is this the free advertisement beta?
So this is the server slam. They've actually basically said that the beta version that you're going to be playing is pretty much what it's going to be at launch. So they've gone gold already. So the drop rates are what they're going to be on launch as opposed to what they were in the previous beta where legendary items rain from the sky. They've added loads of tweaks. There's unofficial patch notes if you want to find out the actual tweaks. They gave it like a summary of some of the changes they made, but there's a lot more than they actually disclosed. But yeah, if you want to get a feel for like the Druid, for example, because in previous betas everyone was saying the Druid feels kind of weak and gear dependent. Spoiler alert, it still kind of is. That's what I've been doing this weekend. It's definitely not as bad, to be clear, but in comparison to the other classes, it's the less fun to play. It's still fun to play, but the other classes are more powerful without gear. That's also not to say that by end game, I actually suspect the Druid could be incredibly powerful once you get the gear. There's a lot of ramp, basically. But yeah, just wanted to quickly touch on that. They also showed off their seasonal content plan. So they were like, oh, this is the shop. It's cosmetics only. They showed us the season pass. It's cosmetics only. There was a little bit of a thing where the way they're doing their season pass, you got the free track, which is like cosmetics, but also these things called ashes, which then affect like you can invest them into like buffs that apply to your entire account. Then you got a premium track, which is purely cosmetics, and then you've got like an uber premium track. It's not so much a premium track, but you can skip levels. But what they've said is, because obviously people are like, well, if you can skip levels, you can get those free ashes on the free track sooner, right? And they were like, no, not only do you have to have the levels on the pass, your character has to meet a minimum level requirement. So even if you do buy the skip for the pass, if you've not reached a certain level, you don't get those buffs until you hit the level requirement, which I think is kind of cool. It's fine. I personally have been liking what they've been showing with regards to Diablo 4. Obviously, I haven't played late game yet, and as an action RPG enjoyer, it's something I will be scrutinizing a lot when I get there, but I am enjoying the game. But I just wanted to cover that very, very quickly. Moving on, as I mentioned, Nintendo DMCA'd. We've touched on it already. Alanah got DMCA'd for showing Skillup's video.
That sucks, dude. I feel bad for her.
Yeah, it was funny because...
I'm glad she got it fixed.
It was funny because she's only recently just gotten a green card, so she, as a allowed to technically be earning money in America as an Australian, she had to actually have all of her YouTube income go through a manager, and then they handled her AdSense. But now she's got a green card, she's had to switch it over, so her channels have been demonetized during that period, which isn't like a YouTube fault, it's just part of the process of switching from one person to another. And then like within a week, Nintendo are like, DMCA, your channel's banned on Twitch, because she was watching
Why
PR
do
footage.
Nintendo hate their fans?
I have a suspicion of what happened, because there were loads of people that got Tears of the Kingdom early, and they were streaming it, so they were getting shut down. And I think someone was just like, oh, this is Tears of the Kingdom, and thought she was streaming it and not a video, and just didn't pay attention. That's my suspicion, and someone was just a bit...
I could see that.
trigger happy.
I think when I saw, I don't, because like I really do avoid as much as I can when like a new release comes out, if it's something I'm interested in. And I think like for Tears of the Kingdom, I keep saying Tales, sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
Tears of the Kingdom, I think like I went on my YouTube front page, and it was like a channel that I never watched before, so I can't like cite who it was, but they had like it was fucking like 20 hours of footage. It's just like from start to finish of the game, but it was released I saw it was 17 hours after they had posted the day it released. And I was like, Jesus. So like, I mean, yeah, if they're streaming it, then I mean, yeah, I could see Nintendo like making that mistake. They do hate their fans.
They were shutting down the streams real quick as well. I think JP was basically watching it. JP, a streamer on Twitch. He was saying that there was no channel that streamed it for longer than 90 minutes. People would just stream it, 90 minutes later, channel's gone. And there would be people that would literally be like, oh, if I get banned on Twitch, you can just follow me on YouTube here, kind of thing. So there was like some people were just making channels just to stream it and then advertise their real channels and stuff like that. But yeah, I suspect it was just someone being trigger happy, and she did get unbanned pretty quickly. So she must have appealed it, and they were like, oh shit, how bad? Yeah, okay, it was press footage.
Yeah, I mean, at least she got it back. I think that's the main takeaway from this. That really sucks for her.
Right. So next,
she's being put through the ringer.
Right. Yeah, and with her green card as well, just slightly anecdotal.
Yeah. My mom had a green card when I was growing up, so I know how like finicky that can be.
Well, it took about 5 years for her to get it, and when she first got it, they got her gender wrong.
It takes a long fucking time to get those.
Yeah, so when she got a green card originally, she got they got her gender wrong. So she filled in the forms correct. They just got it wrong, so they had her as a man, so it wasn't valid.
That's America for you. That's America for you, baby.
It took about 8 months for them to change that and get the new one.
8 months?
Yeah, it took fucking ages to get it fixed.
She could have just rolled with it, you know, like, so that's a funny story. My brother, like, for a long time, they screwed up my brother's gender too.
Right.
Because he has a unisex name.
Right.
And they and I think it had something to do with like his health insurance or something. I can't remember what it was. And they were like, we can't talk to you because we have your gender down as a female.
Right. Yeah. And I think
my brother has a very deep, booming voice, and you hear him go, "Do I sound like a woman?"
Right. Right.
But like, that's America for you. They're really not the greatest at that, and
not the quickest either.
I have a lot of sympathy for her because, like I said, my mom had a green card. Like, she actually only recently became a citizen not too long ago.
Right. Yeah. And
I was a citizen this whole time, so whatever, mom.
Yeah,
but no, I mean that's no, but I was born here, that's why.
Yeah, no,
but yeah, no, I'm that sucks for her, man. I feel so bad.
If you don't,
so in my chat, welcome to America.
Welcome to America.
Oh, poor baby.
Yeah, bless her. If you don't follow her, I do recommend following her on YouTube. She actually, because of the nature of her work previously, she works at Santa Monica Studios now, like on God of War Ragnarok, for example, as a writer.
Yeah,
But
I know who she is.
Because of the previous stuff she's done, she's got a lot of friends who are developers. So she recently did a video where she actually just asked a bunch of developer friends why our game's release broken and stuff like that. And there was a really good video about it. And we'll probably touch on it at some point when we're talking about Redfall. But yeah, so
that does sound interesting.
I got a lot of words about that game.
It was a really, really good video. Do highly recommend it.
I'm probably gonna check it out after. Well, not probably like tomorrow because I have D&D after this.
That's fair. But moving on, the next subject is Discord made a change. So a couple of years ago, they made a change so you could have the name that you wanted. Because loads of people have the same name, it makes sense. And you just add a couple of numbers, but those numbers don't actually show on your display name and things like that. And it's great. It's fabulous. It's really convenient. And now they've gone, you know what? We want to be more like Twitter. That's like pretty much what they've cited. We want to be more like other platforms. So they're now getting rid of the numbers. And if you, the longer you've been on Discord, the older your account is, you get priority to change your name, and then you get a unique name.
Oh yeah, look at that. I just noticed the numbers are gone.
So many content creators are going to lose their names.
Yeah, so many people are going to basically just get impersonated now because someone's been like, oh, I've been on Twitter since... sorry, not Twitter, Discord.
That worked out so well for Twitter.
Yeah, so now someone who's had an account since 2015, they're like, oh, I'm going to change my name to Shroud. Fuck you, Shroud, kind of thing, and then impersonate him and shit like that. So...
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of those bigger content creators have like, they have teams behind them that can actually like finagle. Yeah,
there are definitely things you can do. Even on Twitch, I can't say where I got this information from, but if you have a trademark, you can use that to get the name that you want. So yeah, like that's technically not supposed to be known, but yeah. So if you were like, my name is Ben, and I've
probably start utilizing that more. Maybe I can get my Twitter name.
Maybe you'd have to pay for a trademark and fight for it.
LLCs are different though. They're different. It's not a trademark.
Yeah.
It's just when I was trying to do independent creation as a model, I registered for it. I paid for the LLC. I don't know how it actually works out. Someone told me to do it, and I was like, okay. So I don't know what I could do for that.
Yeah.
So much shit I've done because somebody told me to do it, and it just okay, I'll do it. I'll just do the thing.
Like, yeah, sure, whatever you say. Well, why is my house on fire? things have gone wrong. But moving on before we take a break, Peachy. You posted something in notable news. D&D. EN World Tabletop RPG News
just
Reviews.
Caught this. I'm away from the office. That's why I look like this today. And I just found this on my phone. I thought it was kind of cool, but I think it's just cable.
Well, it's on cable.
No, it's ad supported. But I better tell everyone what it is. There is a streaming channel for D&D. And we're talking like live actual plays, talk shows about D&D, the original D&D cartoon on its own platform channel, a new streaming channel. So they're calling themselves a channel. So that means, like your smart TVs and stuff, right? It's not an entire service.
I'll just read the synopsis for you on the video that you posted.
It says it's going to be launched by E1, the entertainment company owned by Hasbro. I didn't even know.
Yeah, so it says this summer...
it's a new free streaming channel.
Yeah, so this summer, a new free streaming channel will be launched by E1, that's lowercase e, the word one, the entertainment company owned by Hasbro. It will be ad-supported and available on multiple, as of yet unspecified platforms, and feature a mix of animation, third-party influences, and actually play shows, including the original 1980s Dungeons & Dragons. So
roll for the Pinkertons, please.
Yeah, they just...
Dude, no, they already came for my Animal Crossing island.
They stole it on behalf of Tom Nook.
I just thought...
Dude, Tom Nook, he sent out the Pinkertons. He was like, well, you got another Switch? Well, we'll show you about this one. Let's break her kneecaps.
What's interesting to me is like D&D and actual plays and all this kind of stuff. You can get that content anywhere, right? And
Yeah.
it's not like shunned anymore. It's not like thought of as, oh, that's a thing that other people do.
No, it's considered
It's
sexy
getting
these
its
days.
own, yeah, it's getting its own channel. It's even more mainstream, and I think that's just cool, regardless of Wizards of
I
the
think it's
Coast
pretty
and,
rad, to be honest.
and Hasbro and all that. But I think that's kind of cool, and it's going to be ad supported, so it's going to be like a cable channel. You just sit there and you can watch D&D all the time, and you don't have to pay for it. Which current streaming solutions are kind of shitty.
As far as we're aware, because things like a lot of streaming like sites or streaming services, like I know Hulu, for example, used to be free like way back in the day. So like you never know if it's
but
gonna
then it
start,
got bought by, is it HBO?
Yeah.
Bought
Yeah, because I
Hulu?
remember using Hulu like years ago. And it was for free, and I was like, oh hell yeah! You just had to deal with some ads, but I mean, so as far as we're aware now, and Hasbro, like, I mean, come on, man. Hasbro, like, they were known. They kind of like back in the day, they made cartoon shows around advertising for children. They're gonna try and get money out of this eventually.
Yeah,
it's just nice incentive in the beginning to make it free.
That's true. And to be fair,
it's just the way it's being called an ad supported. So there's probably going to be a subscription service for it.
Yeah, there'll be a premium service to get rid of the ads.
Yeah,
absolutely.
probably. It would be dumb not to do that.
I mean, it's a technique that's becoming quite popular. Like recently, PewDiePie, who got banned on Twitch for one of his VODs, despite the fact that he hasn't been on Twitch for like however long he's not streamed for. I think it's a couple of years. Yeah, he got banned like in the last month or so for an old VOD, even though he hasn't been streaming. But what's happened is he's setting up his channel again, or a company on his behalf setting up a channel, and they're just going to play like his however many thousands of videos just perpetually, kind of like the Bob Ross channel, where it just plays like Bob Ross stuff or Bob Ross episodes. And I think there was another channel that does something similar.
That's smart for him to do. He has like 10 years of, like over 10 years of content.
So it's just playing all of his content.
Content.
I never really watched PewDiePie's gaming content. I actually liked him when he did like commentary for a bit, and then I just like.
I found out the other day he's the guy that goes, bruh. I didn't even know that meme was him. That's him.
Oh, I had no idea.
What?
So you do like
sorry about that, everyone. That just came out of my brain. I can't help it.
Blow your minds, bruh.
Oh my god! Now I'm like hearing the sound in my voice. I'm hearing the sound in my head. I'm like, oh my god, that is him.
Well, you go listen to it later and have.
I'm going to listen to it later, but I think now I'm listening to it. I'm like,
you will, bruh.
It's a good way to, because I imagine it's obviously in his perspective as PewDiePie, it's a Twitch channel. You just whack on a server. That server just perpetually plays the videos.
Yeah,
really cheap to do. And
also, doesn't he also consider himself retired these days too?
Yeah, he's like semi-retired kind of thing.
Yeah, so like I mean, it makes sense for him. Like I might as well capitalize on your content on another platform, and then because I know like he's got family he started and everything. Like good for him, man.
Yeah, and whereas in the case of Hasbro, they've got all this IP that's not doing anything. And maybe no cable channels are reaching out to them and stuff like that. So they go, okay, well, we'll just make our own thing really, really cheap. And then the people that want to see it give us ad revenue. That's free money.
Dude, I like Hasbro's material. I mean, like they're the ones who started Transformers and Gem and the Holograms back in the day. Yeah. I was just more commenting like they're like there's laws, about like, preventing like advertisements for children. It was set in motion because of Hasbro. That's what I was more commenting on. Yeah. That's like, oh yeah, they're not the most altruistic either. So like, I mean, they can see that they see the potential in this concept, and fuck, dude, hats off to you. If that's actually not a bad idea.
At least it's not a streaming platform, because we do not need another streaming platform.
I thought it said it was a streaming platform.
No, it's a channel.
Streaming channel. You're right. I had to go check. That's not a bad idea. It's really not. I mean, maybe somewhere down the road they could probably monetize it and like adapt it into something else, and I'm pretty sure we'll see them do that. But like, I mean, most of their shows are like, they stem from, or they're used as like advertisements. Like the Transformers show is only created to advertise their toys.
Well, so, yeah, because of those laws
them making
about
this, like, having the
advertising
D&D
to children. They
think
just
about
made
like
the
having
cartoon.
they're probably going to try and draw more people into D&D.
I bet you they sold more toys after they went that model instead of when they told you can't advertise these to kids, and then they did the cartoons.
I was telling
so way more. I'm telling you.
I was telling my fiance about this, and my mom had like my brothers had like VHS tapes from like back then that were like Transformers and Dino Riders and stuff, and even in the VHS tapes they had the toy advertisements like right in there. It's a very interesting method, and of course they sold toys because you're watching the cartoon, you're like, oh, I want the Starscream too.
Right. I mean, like,
and you gotta admit those ads looked really fucking cool.
And now they just sell the toys to adults because adults have more money.
Dude, I've been thinking about it. Like they're gonna get more people into D&D utilizing this, and like even down the road they could probably work with someone like Critical Role if they wanted to.
There is the possibility.
Well, no, the Critical Role has HBO, doesn't they? They had the Critical Role show, or what was it?
no
I don't
idea.
know. I'm trying to brainstorm for fucking Hasbro like I'm on their payroll.
I'm sure they've thought of it. To be fair, they do mention influencers, so they will be working with like influencers and probably having.
It would be very smart of them to do.
Yeah.
Amazon owns them. Okay, sorry, it's Amazon owns the Critical Role show. My bad. But I mean, there's a lot of potential they could do with this.
I mean, it's free content. Idea. Like even if they did nothing,
that's why.
Than, yeah,
just put it on.
Like even if they just put it on, it's like it's recycling. Like rather than just having it on a server somewhere and doing nothing, they're like, well, people want it, and they know where to find it.
Dragons cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Like,
no cable channels will be like, oh, can we have the license for that, please?
There was a game that came out not too long ago. I remember seeing it on Game Pass, and it was basically styled like the old like 80s cartoons.
Oh,
like
I got a key for that. It's called.
Oh, can I want it.
Well, I used the key and I played the game. Sorry.
God damn it! It was good.
Yeah, pretty good. It wasn't like blow your socks off, but it was fun, and it definitely had that vibe of those cartoons.
It was the
I can't
vibe.
remember what it's called now.
Being the generation that came from those kind of shows. I mean, it was before me, but I watched them anyway.
Still getting updates and stuff, so
that's dope.
Go check out that game that I can't remember the name of. It's a fun time.
Use your Google food.
Either. You heard it here.
Speaking of D&D, I watched the D&D movie the other day.
Yay!
It's good. It's actually good.
It's good. It is good. It's like watching someone play a game, but with production value.
Like the cast, I think was really well chosen.
It's
it was
like
pretty well written.
Nerds play the game, but they actually have a production team behind it.
Did you know? Before they started filming, before they'd even finished the script, they had the cast play D&D as their characters to like work it out. And it shows.
That's cool.
It 100% shows watching that. Like there are so many things wrong about it that I'm like, oh, I don't care. This is great. This is perfect. This is exactly what I needed from a D&D movie.
Yeah, like it's not groundbreaking. It's not going to move you to tears or anything like that. But it's good entertainment. Like if you had to assign an arbitrary number to it, I would say like it's a solid 8 out of 10 movie. You can definitely watch it. You won't regret watching it. You'll have a good time doing so. And then you may even go, hey, to your friend, you should go watch this, like Peachy did to me, and then I watched it, and yeah, I had a great time with it. It's obviously I don't want to talk spoilers, but the cast, like I said, it was really well chosen. The script was done really well. There was a fair bit of humor in it, and it wasn't cringe like the other D&D movie. Have you seen the other D&D movie they did ages ago?
I enjoy that on a completely different level, though.
on the cringe level.
Yeah, that is.
It takes me a long time to even watch it takes me a long time to watch like video game related content because it's like I'm so hesitant about being bad.
Right.
And sometimes it is like so good, so bad it's good. So
Jeremy Irons saves the original movie because Jeremy Irons, like, there's no scenery left because he's eaten it all, like the entire. And it's got nothing to do with D&D. It doesn't even like it barely. There's like dragons in it,
and that's it.
It's just bad.
That's
it's just really bad, but worth a watch.
But the new one, really good. Highly recommend. I will be watching the Mario movie probably tomorrow, I imagine. Yeah, I
have to get around to seeing that too myself. I think it's still in theaters here. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's on streaming services, or there are other methods to watch it, of course. But yeah,
I haven't been to a theater in a while. That's why I'm like, I kind of wanted to go to one.
Yeah,
Weird.
I haven't been to one for a while. I haven't been one.
I haven't gone
this
in
year.
so long, and it's like I kind of missed the experience.
Yeah, I like going
When it
with
comes
my
out
mates.
on a streaming well, I was like reading something about how like there's a resurgence of like people going to the theater because it's an entirely different experience to watch.
No,
those
in
special
my
screens.
theater, there ain't no one in there every time I go. It's great, to be honest.
Well, the one by me, it's been packed lately actually.
Yeah,
Um,
the theater business was like, oh no, theaters are all dying because of COVID and all that, and they were really worried about
yeah.
it. But it is
Also,
resurging hard.
They're pretty gross. Let's be real, they're pretty
Yeah.
fucking gross.
And then when
I
there's
can
some
tell
dickhead on
stories,
his
but I'm not going to
phone,
gross anyone
there's
out.
like
Some of the stories I've heard.
keytones on, and they're like texting, and you're like, shut the fuck up, stop texting.
Yeah.
First of all, if you use keytones on your phone, you're an asshole. Like, just by
And
default. By default.
legally a psychopath. Like
Yes.
that. It says in
I
the
think,
law.
dude, just pay someone. I'll do it to go around and someone pulls up their phone, slap it out of their hand.
Slap that. No, not
And
today.
hopefully, it's ski. It goes
Yeah.
underneath the. It just slides under another scene. It's like now you'll get it later.
I don't know why, it's just one of those things that annoys me. Like, I used to commute to work on the bus every day, and there'd be this person who was perpetually texting, and every key press would be like bing 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 bing, and I'm like, I'm
Dude, my
going
phone's
to...
on silent all the time.
Yeah.
I hate when I'm typing and I just switched to Opera for like my my internet, and it's over Chrome just to test it out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, look at all these little like things I could do. And one of them had like the typing. I'm like, oh, well, that's gonna be old. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
It's so bad. I
My-
have to have my phone on silent for that reason. It's just it annoys me.
Yeah, like my phone's been on vibrate only for at least a decade now. I
Mine's
don't
on
use
silent.
ringtones or anything. The only time I
Well,
used a
dude,
ringtone,
I left it off one time and my phone rang and I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
like, what's that noise? What's going on?
I love ringtones. Everyone who calls me or has their own ringtone, so I know who's calling. My grandmother has BFG, Division from Doom. So-
Oh,
I used to in my like early 20s, and the best one I had was when one of my best friends would call me. He would start going like playing a siren, going, "Warning, warning, it's the wife." And and then I'd be like, answer the phone in public, and I'm like, oh, it's probably his wife. I'm like, you right, mate? How you doing? Yeah, cool, yeah. And just start talking to them like, wait, I thought it was his wife.
dude, I like went through like what I would make. I remember making my own.
I remember
On, like,
buying them
iTunes.
for like £3 a pop.
Right.
Oh, dude, I was making them. I learned how, and I would make like I had a bunch of misfits on mine, and just like I just thought it was so cool.
And you can like
And-
Google the key presses to make them on your Nokia and stuff like that.
Oh my god, the
Yeah.
old school like 3210
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I
Those were
just
the
aged
days.
150 years, and I also need to pee, Brian.
Okay, well, we're about to take a break, ladies and
Can you fix my
gentlemen.
lash?
We will be back in around about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to play some music for you. Mics will be hot. Are we leaving the mics,
Mics will
on?
be hot.
Mics will be hot.
Mics will be hot.
So,
Just like all
see
three
you
of them.
in 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh,
I don't have a BRB screen still. Ah! Yes, I do. There we go. I just don't have a button for it. Welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of the Fully Rendered podcast. And if you ever decide to subscribe to the Patreon, which isn't live yet, you'll be able to enjoy the break time conversations that we have. We were just talking about buggies and prams and wedding dresses and things like that. So
and the dead language of Wales.
and the dead language of Wales. So keep it out for when we go live with the Patreon. There'll be many benefits that we'll put forward, and it will help to support us.
You'll be able to fly.
You'll be able to fly.
$1 million.
$1 million. The
You'll get a
top tier.
$3 million, and you can fly if you. When we
okay,
start.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah. But
What the hell, dude? Sorry.
should we briefly talk about that?
Yes, please, because I'm so confused.
So
I-
those who may not be aware, Mr. Beast has done a number of philanthropic things as of late. So recently he did a video where he basically just gave like 1,000 people their eyesight back. He did another one where he gave a load of people free hearing aids and
I
things
saw
like that.
people take issue with that one, but primarily because the wording that he paid for 1,000 people to get surgery, and that's what it was. But you know,
What did the surgery do, though?
I don't
It
know.
gave them their eyesight
I kind of
back,
like
is what it
explained it
did.
to you guys. I explained it in the Discord when we were talking about this, that Mr. Beast is like when I say like he's a baby, like he's in his early 20s. He's a
Oh, yeah.
baby to me. So like I don't watch
Yeah,
his content.
it's not my kind of content.
I watched one video and I was like, okay, this is a little too much. Not for me.
It's like you see it and you go, oh, I get this. Okay, cool.
I get it. Yeah. But it's like you got to play the game too, you know, with the YouTube game. So like I can understand like how the wording can kind of like throw people for a loop. And I could see the criticism from being like trying to profit off Phillips
There is
charity.
no way that episode.
I can't
There
say
is
it.
no way it earned as much money as he spent on it.
No, I mean, the thing is, no, I'm saying like I could see where that criticism comes from, but personally, like, I mean, I don't really care. Like, he really just exists for me. It's like as long as it, you know, he seems pretty harmless in my opinion.
Well, the thing is, he's actually got a dedicated channel where all the money, all the monetization funds charities. Like, so he makes videos to earn money that goes into the charities and stuff again.
In my chat, the surgery was to remove cataracts.
Right.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was one of the videos he did. He did another one giving people their hearing back and like giving hearing aids and the thing where you put a chip on.
No, and
stuff
all,
like that.
all of those are fantastic things because if anything, what those videos do is they highlight the flaws of the American healthcare system, where 1,000 people weren't able to afford cataract surgery, which is, you know, wonderful of him to do. I think if anything, the title was a little misleading. It did give their site back, but you know, that could be like how if it's more specified just to like cataract surgery.
Well,
I mean,
but cataracts makes you blind.
No, I know. I know, but
Like,
there's
I don't think it was even that contentious. I think anyone complaining,
I don't care.
Weird.
Dude, I just
kind of insane.
I just complimented him by saying it highlights the flaws of our healthcare system.
I am just absolutely blown away. Like he could like solve climate change.
People are gonna bitch,
and people would be like, "What a piece of shit!" It's so confusing to me.
No, I don't think he's a piece of shit.
Like,
I said, like, if you want to criticize him, maybe just criticize the vagueness of the wording.
Crazy, I know, but I think he might actually be a good person and using his power, his platform, and his money for good.
Yeah, and a lot of the criticisms.
I don't really think he's doing anything hateful. Like, regardless if there is a profit or like some sort of like notoriety that he receives from it, like he's still helping people.
Yeah, a lot of the criticisms that he often gets is people like, "Oh, he's only doing this to make videos to make money," and it's like, well, he's
obviously
using that money to then help people. Like he's going, I'm rich, let me help people.
Would they be happier if he was making his videos and earning however much and not doing anything with it?
Or just fall on the same, you know, do you want like another like rich spoiled influencer? Like at least he's not behaving like a Jake Paul.
Well, what they want is just for him to do stuff for charity and not broadcast it, and it's like, well, that's his job. To make content. The money he's got is from making content, and it feeds into itself.
I would
That's
agree
the entire
with
point.
criticism. I would agree with that criticism if he only did it once in a while, and then then he shows himself spending ludicrous amounts of money on himself for material goods.
His house is worth 383,000.
Which, considering he's like the richest,
considering how much
he's one of the
richest YouTubers,
he's got quite a modest house.
living in multiple £1,000,000 mansions. I think it might be.
That's why I said
near
that's pretty modest for probably his net worth. That's modest in
incredibly modest.
I think it's the first big YouTuber ever to exist that isn't a sociopath.
Right.
I truly believe he's an actual person, a real person.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I ever wondered was like, where does the money come from?
It's just from the sheer amount of content he made.
I meant in the beginning. I meant like more in the beginning. Like, where the fuck did the money come from? But I mean, it's none of my business. I don't really
he didn't start off with every video being, I gave £100,000 to.
No, I figured it was more like for me, because like I said, to me he's a child, so like I don't really watch. You know, people like it's not really my kind of content. So I would just hear about it through like the grapevine and be like, I mean, that's dope.
Yeah, it's like
it's gotta be some of the best Zoomer content out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like actually,
and that's saying a lot too, because Zoomer content is big yikes to me a lot.
The most recent controversy is he's bought an entire street for his employees. He just bought all the houses on an entire street.
No strings attached.
And he was just like, if you want to, you can have a house.
Can I be his friend?
If you work for him, yes.
That's
if you work for him, you can have a house.
That's my takeaway from it. do you need someone to work for you?
Yeah, and like
'Cause
people are like, oh, it's one of
that'd
those.
be nice.
I've forgotten the term for
That's
it,
nice
but
too.
some other companies have done that, but they can then overshadow
So
it and
there's a
overlord
lot
it
of
over
companies
people.
that will set you up in housing in the LA. You know, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's like other countries, but in the States, it is a like there are kind of companies that do it. Sometimes it's a trade-off.
So the complaint that I've seen that you're talking about, Brian, is they're saying it's like the Victorian landlords.
Oh, dude,
who
it's
gave
apparently.
people...
Wait, hold on. Apparently, this street was in North Carolina. Do you guys want to know what's in fucking North Carolina?
Sure.
No,
Mr.
exactly.
Beast.
No, Peachy's reaction was exactly it. No, there's fucking nothing in North Carolina.
I mean,
But I mean,
at the end of the
you
day,
can work
it's where they're employed. So
I mean,
Yeah,
well, no, it's they're all like, you know, they're all internet influence. It's all everything's digital, so like it doesn't matter where you live. That's
Yeah.
why it's always interesting to me when people think that they want to live in LA for content creation. It's like, no, get the fuck out of here. It's so expensive here. You'll save so much money. Why do you think some of these people moved to Texas?
So
It's
back
so
to my
much
point.
better. So like, go fuck, you know, dude.
Oh!
North Carolina. What?
Back to my point.
Oh yeah, back to your point.
All Victorian landlords running like a factory and stuff would put people in a house, and then they would charge them out of their rent and basically keep spinning it around till they didn't get paid anything. But they also couldn't move above their station. They had enough to eat, and they had something above their head. They couldn't move upwards.
Yeah.
But Mr. Beast is literally no strings. Here's a house.
yeah, it's like if you work for me and you need to be near me because of
Yeah, it
whatever
doesn't
reason.
sound like he's gonna take it back either.
Yeah, he's literally like just move into this house, and it's just gonna be a street of his employees. So people are like, oh, he's gonna overlord it above them, like he's gonna take their rent out of their pay and stuff like that. It's like, no, he's not doing any of that. He's literally just going, you're an employee of mine. If you want to be closer to like the studios or whatever, here you go. Here's a house.
Well, and it's an ideal situation for them because yeah, I mean they're not. It's, you know, taking a lot of the stress from like, you know, paying bills from them off of their backs, and then also yeah, you just said that they're closer to the studio, dude. Commuting for work,
Yeah,
like
Huge
if you
bummer.
could
Hate
remove
it.
that,
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
probably a
do
bunch
hybrid
of
working
content
myself.
that needs you there for Mr. Beast content, right?
You've also got to bear in mind he isn't just a content creator. He's got like loads of other businesses now as well.
Yeah,
Like
he's
he
got
has his own.
restaurants.
yeah, oh yeah.
He's got like products like chocolate. I think he's got burgers. He's got all sorts of stuff that he sells now. So
Yeah, he has
it's not
there's
just his
one of
YouTube
his-
employees.
I've seen his chocolate in like I think at Walmart not too long ago, and then also his there is one of his burger places near me.
Yeah.
I haven't tried the chocolate. I tried the burgers. They're fine. They're okay. Not my, but I don't eat burgers. No, I mean like the thing is too is like when it comes to content creation too, and I think all three of us can kind of, you know, recognize that it's not that easy. It's better to work outside of your space because it like separates, you know, it puts you in a healthier mindset. So when they're doing something like that, having a studio space, keeping all of your employees near the studio space is most definitely ideal for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Because it puts them.
But if they don't want to do that,
They don't
like,
have to. Yeah.
No,
he's
yeah,
not
if he's
saying you
giving them
have
the
to live
option,
here.
if he's giving them the option, like even like that's, I'm just saying like that, just like the whole like concept, like having everyone nearby.
yeah,
Not necessarily a bad idea. Like if I'm pretty sure, like because I've worked in companies like where I've had to commute like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, like, and that's without LA traffic. So, you know, keeping them in a nearby state, like, and offering them a place to stay or live that they don't have to commute that much.
Yeah,
Why not?
I would immediately take that up. Like, yeah, mate,
offer.
thanks for the house. Like, I'd be on that like a
I just
fat
want
kid
a
on
house.
cake. I'd be straight in there. But yeah, loads of people are basically just kicking off because they always assume that his intentions are for the worse and that he's only doing it for money. He's only doing it to save and save the pennies and stuff like that. It's like,
he's also
no, he's just loaded and he throws his money around to help people.
yeah.
no. I mean, he seems like he cares more about other people than himself. That's what it seems like.
It's not like he's going broke from it.
The thing is, he's also known for helping people, employees who have had to like move anyway to like be closer to the studio and things like that. So obviously you get a lot of companies like, oh, well, you need to move closer from one state to another so you can commute here in time. Apparently he's like really generous with helping people do that. Like before this even occurred, this buying of the street.
from what I just read, that it being in North Carolina, like the housing or like the cost of living out there is significantly cheaper too than like here on like the coast. And I don't know how like the taxes work out there, because all states have different, are different in that case. So I can't comment on that. But that's what I was saying. Like, it's like, fuck, like there's not really much to do out there, but there is a reason why like content creators do try to like they can move to like these other states that the cost of living is a lot less for them, because I mean essentially you're building your own studio within your own home. And if he's trying to build a whole street and have like all this housing for his own employees and friends, plus a nearby studio, like it makes fiscal sense to be doing it in North Carolina. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was implying like you don't nearly need to be in like where I live, because it's too expensive to be living here in general. And it's like, if you're just working out of your house or like be doing content creation, you could literally essentially do it anywhere.
Right.
So I mean, good for I don't find anything wrong with it.
The TLDR is he's doing nothing wrong. It's just people being stupid and actually just jumping to conclusions and then going, well, I'm going to assume my conclusion is correct and not actually look into it and then get mad.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
No, this sounds like this is just a perfect case, another case of like people just want something to bitch about.
Yeah, 100%,
I mean,
100%.
He's been coming up a lot too. Like I see him be talked about a lot. Like I know the whole Sunny V2 thing was another one too, and that whole thing I saw him get upset about it, which I don't blame. I good on him for like standing up for his friend.
Yeah, 100%. But let's get back into games.
Yeah, let's get back into gaming.
So games. So myself and Peachy have played the last case of Benedict Fox.
How was it? I downloaded it.
Peachy, take it away.
Oh, that is
no.
How is it? And like, it's good. It's good.
It's good.
Question mark?
Okay, this game is an unplayable masterpiece.
Okay. Elaborate, because I wouldn't say that, but go on.
Let's if I ignore parts of the game, it's busted, terrible, and unplayable. If I ignore other parts of it, it is one of my favorite pieces of media I've ever enjoyed in my life.
It's so beautiful.
I've not had any bugs or anything whatsoever, so I'm intrigued.
I mean, I've had a couple of bugs, but bugs. I used to do Q&A, so bugs don't wind me up quite so much. So God, there's so much about it. The enemy AI is absolutely atrocious. It's probably the worst thing. I had to go into the easy mode, invincible mode, because enemy AI will just pile up and you can't even progress sometimes. The exploration is fantastic. On one hand, it's amazing. It's a mystery you're trying to find. There is less than zero direction. There is, in fact, things telling you the incorrect things to do. There's like a quest list, right? And it never tells you what you're going for. It doesn't tell you which quest is like a long-running quest that you're going to be finding throughout the game. And you don't need to look for this right now because you're going to find that eventually as you go through. It's just this jumble of things that you need to do. So the direction is like, I like trying to figure out what I need to do and where I need to go. But there is so much obfuscated about what even mission I'm supposed to be doing. Add to that, you need to backtrack all over the place too, because it's a Metroid. Well, it's not a Metroidvania. That's actually a misnomer. But it is set up in a big map where you need to go back and forth. And when you add to that the enemy AI that will just dogpile you and one-shot you, even when you're invincible, because you're just trying to figure out where you want to go, and you just turn on the invincible mode, and they one-shot you, and you respawn. You can't even jump over enemies, because, the double jump is a terrible idea. They should have done it as a grappling hook. I think that would have solved a lot of problems. But the way the story and lore plays out is just wonderful. It's so full of this just everything. It all fits together so nicely. The vibe throughout is absolutely perfect. It's got this air of mystery. It's not telling you. It doesn't treat you like an idiot. But it goes too far, and the enemies. I really like the game, but I can't recommend it.
It looks beautiful from what the VOD. Were you wearing a maid outfit while you were playing this?
I just noticed that actually.
I just noticed that too. I'm like, what is he wearing?
Why have you got it on again?
What? I think it's a thing now.
Yeah,
I think it's his kink.
Because I got 180 subs.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and that's not my fault.
Okay.
Well, a friend of mine helped my stream because I had to go and do live stuff,
Right.
and I came back, and suddenly I had 180 subs, and I had to put on a maid outfit.
Right.
That the times I played that's the stream you pull up. Okay, all right.
Well,
okay.
I played the early game, or rather, I picked the early game to avoid spoilers. So that's all you.
Okay,
that's all you.
Right. Okay. It's like I want people to play it. This I looked into the company. They've made some. I wouldn't say shovelware, but they haven't made grand idea games. They've made like a brawlery kind of thing,
Right.
a drifty game and stuff. This is like their first proper game, and I think this could have been fixed with an actual gameplay director or a combat director. Obviously it's a very small company, and what they've done I think is amazing, but there are clear missteps here that stem from them being new small development company, and I really hope they can address some of these things. If you do want to play it, because when you look at it, that's what it is. It is this mystery with like just it looks brilliant as well. It looks so beautiful. And the lore building and the little bits of information they give you about the stories you go on, you go, ooh, interesting.
It's very dark as well.
Play it. It's super dark, which is my shit. But the longer you play and start fighting enemies, you are going to put on easy combat mode. And when you put on I hate getting lost, there's a I hate getting lost mode, which should be the base. That should be the base, because all it does is tell you which doors are which, so you don't spend 3 hours trying to figure out if you can open this door yet. There's just these silly little missteps. Yeah, I actually got to I didn't finish the game because I got ill. I finally unlocked the thing for the finger doors, but I had to go through a walkthrough because I could not figure out what I needed to do to open these. And I just all I needed was a little thread of what I need to go for next, rather than I didn't need to be told where to go or anything like that. I just needed that little thread of where to invest. Because when I'm running around going, I don't know what I'm doing. I've
played games like that where it's like no shame in like looking up a walkthrough. There's this like it's just necessary. If they're not giving you enough guidance, like I agree, it's like it's not telling me. Don't tell me where to go. Just at least like nudge me a little bit.
Yeah, you don't need it if there was just a little thread. Because the second I get onto a new thing, I ignore any walkthrough or anything I've been looking at, and I'm just in the. It's great. Apart from the combat, needs work.
Right.
I'm tempted to check this out just because I downloaded it. I started the download last recording, and I honestly I got distracted by Jedi Survivor and then had some stuff I need to work on. Like I stopped streaming for a week because I had some things I need to focus on.
Right.
But aside from that, like I never got around to checking it because I spaced, and obviously Redfall was put my attention towards that first.
Right.
And I think after playing that, I completely forgot this. But I'm looking at your stream, and it actually does look beautiful. And it is a shame hearing that the gameplay isn't up to snuff.
It's like the thing is, it isn't. It's there. Like when you're doing the combat and stuff, you can go, oh yeah, this is what they're going for. Because it's not like it's not a Metroidvania where you just destroy monsters and run around. You got to be careful with the fights and stuff. But what do you think of it, Brian? Because
so that's why my dog's barking.
It's all good.
You seem to have thought different to me.
So, likewise, I haven't actually finished it yet. I've gotten through a fair chunk of it, though. To mirror some of the points that you've made, I think it is a visually beautiful game. I think the narrative, the topics that they touch on, the writing in general is very, very good. If depression is a trigger for you, I would avoid it. And I'll do a light spoiler warning. This mechanically, the world breaks down into different zones, and to get into these zones, you enter the memories of corpses. And one corpse is basically dedicated about being like a giant metaphor for severe depression, like severe depression. So it's loads of metaphors about it, and it's very much about that. So if that's going to be an issue for you, I would recommend avoiding it.
Okay.
But otherwise,
Oh, look at that. I just noticed, spoiler alert, I don't think you've ever used that before.
Yeah, just got it on a little button, so it's just
That's so
flashes
cute.
up like
I love that.
Yeah, so it's, with regards to the combat, I probably am not as fussed about the combat because I went into it not expecting like Hollow Knight combat. I wasn't expecting like a perfection in terms of a combat experience in that regard. I went into it expecting it to be more of a puzzle game, and I was like, oh, I can hit things, that's cool, kind of thing. Like the combat, there are some cool things about the combat that I think are intriguing. The enemies can just sometimes just bunch up on each other, and they're like, oh, you're in aggro radius, so we're going to walk towards you. And then you can just like, well, I'm going to jump on a ledge and then like clip you through the terrain slightly to just get rid of you, things like that. I've noticed cheese tactics. I think most of the problems with the game are with its ambiguity. So like Peachy was saying, it doesn't really give you much direction. It introduces you to so many mechanics all at once, and then it turns out you don't have the means to actually action those mechanics until later in the game. So it'll just be like, oh yeah, here's some combat mechanics, here's some puzzle mechanics, here's something that you need to open doors, here's another thing that you need to open doors in a different way, here's another thing, here's another puzzle, here's a mechanic that works with this puzzle. And it doesn't really explain it. It doesn't hold your hand, but it doesn't either, it doesn't really like give you any guidance in any form. You just have to work it out, which is going to be very off-putting.
I like it doesn't hold your hand. I don't want them to go, look, here's a quest flag. I like trying to figure out this mystery. You are a detective after all. I just need a little thread, just get to the next
Would you
puzzle.
Recommend, okay, so I'll check it out myself, and that way I can have like my own opinion, because I have downloaded it, and maybe I'll stream it as well. Would you recommend for like someone going in, so since you're talking to me, would it be better to have a walkthrough at hand, or try to go in blind first?
I've used a walkthrough guide once for one particular thing, and it was more because there's a boss fight. I've only actually come across one. The
Inquisitor?
No, I can touch on that later as well. But so I've only come across one event boss fight where it was like a full screen boss, and you were in an arena, for lack of a better phrase, and there's no health bars, so you don't know if you are actually so there's like this...
I just cheesed that. I just spammed the hit button.
It took me 3 attempts because I didn't know if I was supposed to be there yet. I didn't know if I had, because you're unlocking things all the time.
You should not use a walkthrough until you are completely stuck and don't know which section to go to. The second
because the reason why I ask is there have been Metrovanias I played in the past where like I platinum Ender Lilies, which is a great Metrovania. I guess that's what I guess that technically you can call it that. I don't know, because it's such a catch-all these days to use that term when it's just like a side-scrolling like platformer. But in that game, I was trying to go like full on without without a walkthrough, and I eventually like had to like fall back on it because like there was like no real guidance to where to go because of how much like backtracking I had to do. So I'm not, and personally I would even recommend if someone plays it the first time, like maybe just have it on hand. You don't need it, but like have it on hand. That's more like how I would phrase it. So have it on hand just in case.
Well, what I would
Figuring out the mystery is a lot of fun in this game.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because considering in this context, it's a detective game. That's good. It is unfortunate that you're not. I mean, I know with like detective games, they do try to avoid, because this is Lovecraftian too, and I feel like most Lovecraftian style. Yeah,
it's kind of cosmic horrors and
the atmosphere at least.
There's a
at
lot of
least-
stuff in there. You can like, there's influences coming from all over the place, and it really does come together quite well.
Hmm.
Oh
Yeah,
no, I love hearing that. But I was more alluding to, in my experience with playing like Lovecraftian style games, like there is like an element of investigation because there is a mystery portion of like finding out what's going on. Like Eternal Darkness is one of my favorites, but that's not really that mysterious. But there's others, and so yeah, with mystery games or like detective games, I don't know how to actually word it. Yeah, I try to avoid using walkthroughs as much as I can, but knowing about the combat is helpful for sure.
yeah.
There was a point where I'm like, I can't be dealing with glitchy AI, and I'm putting on invincible mode.
Well, some AI, yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people like I get really frustrated easily. I admit it, and
I don't though. Like I don't get frustrated easy, and this I was like getting.
I get
I was even getting
frustrated
angry
when
while I was invincible. That's
I
how
would say like
dogpiley it got.
when it feels unfair is how when I get frustrated, like because there are games, for
It
example,
didn't
like
feel unfair by design, but you know, like Dark Souls is unfair by design. It's like not unfair, but you know, it's very deliberate.
I
If you fuck up, you're
personally
dead.
like
It's not
I would
designed like that.
I would recommend like the way I would word it. So like I've been playing through Jedi Survivor on Jedi Master mode, not the hardest difficulty, the second hardest. I always try to give myself a challenge because at least you can always turn it down later. And there were a couple of parts where I'm like, this is just unfair for me. And maybe it's my user error on my part where I'm just like, I actually named my last stream just dodge and press square because my fiance was right there going like, just dodge and press square. Shut up. I'm doing that. So I understand, like, so when it comes to like, if it's by design, I get it. But if it's glitchy AI,
it's like that way because it's frustrating and not fully realized.
Right,
And also
okay.
the term Metroidvania is very unfair to the game,
to
and
me-
I don't know who gave it that, to be honest.
So to achieve, yeah, no, that's why I said it's kind of used as a catch-all these days. So to achieve like the most like enjoyability, just like turn down that difficulty. Is that?
So I can't remember if there was difficulty settings. To be fair, what
Yes,
I would
that's
say.
That's what PG said. That's why I'm asking.
Oh,
I
sorry.
would turn everything to easy and don't put invincible mode until you start getting really frustrated because you have to run back and forth
Yeah,
and
I
you're
hate
trying to
invincible
figure out where
modes
to go
too.
next.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Then
good. To
put
know.
invincible
I'll
mode
test it
on.
next. I'll stream it
Also, the
next week.
tutorial was definitely thrown in last minute because the game doesn't tell you anything.
Oh, that's.
And it's a bad
Yeah,
tutorial,
so-
but all tutorials are bad. So
I haven't had to use like invincible mode or anything personally. The major problems for me were that nothing is even a little bit explained, not even through UI elements. You have an inventory and everything goes in the inventory, so you don't know if it's just a note with some
Yeah, that's
anecdotal
another
stuff
thing.
or if it's an item you have to use in the game. So like it took me.
sometimes, did you notice? Sometimes you'll get something that's important for the story, but you don't get the story thing until you go into your inventory, find it, look at it, turn it round, and action on the thing in your inventory.
Yeah, so
And it doesn't tell you that that's a thing to do or that's even available.
Oh.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't give you like there's just no basic guidance. You get an item. I got an item, and I was like, how the fuck do I open this door? And I just got so fed up. I was like, I'm going to look at every single item in my inventory. And then I was like, oh, I've got a book that tells me that. But no one told me that the book was to help with that mechanic kind of thing. There's no...
Oh my god, the numbers are so cool. That is one of my favorite puzzles in the game. That number thing, which is a real thing, which you can look up online and stuff.
Yeah, so like the mechanics themselves are good. It's just there is so... The guidance is non-existent. And because it's
That's good.
non-existent...
Yeah,
and it's
I think
all at
there's,
the
like,
same
There's a
time.
few games I've played. I can't remember any that come to mind right now, but where like there's so little guidance where like you just get frustrated because you're just running around in circles for way too long. And you're like, what the fuck?
The thing is, I hate like having my hand held and told everything. I hate
you. Like
that.
I really hate being back. I hate. So like when I play game, and anytime like I'm starting a game up, like I said, I've been like restarting Animal Crossing, and how much hand holding they do in that game, I'll just be like, oh my god, shut up.
Yeah.
I don't care.
When I say guidance, by the way, I don't mean like literally, I don't mean any hand holding or anything like that. I mean like there's no context. You don't know what things do, and you're
There's a
bombarded
difference
with
between
mechanics.
like I think there's a difference between like, you know, excessive tutorials and or like, you know, information being like kind of thrown at you in that capacity, and just like general guidance, like, hey, here's like, there's some
just
like
something as simple
tutorials,
as
like it's just like
key
even just have
items.
something like pop up, like just be like hit A to jump or whatever, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But like,
It's a shame because I think
Okay.
there's a really, really good game in there. I think there is literally a
I'm gonna check it
masterpiece
out
in there
because
somewhere.
despite I see, like I can look past flaws sometimes if there is a good game there, like story wise and narrative wise, like we've already like talked about in the past. I'll check it out.
yeah, like
Check it out too
one
with me, guys.
example.
Let's do it.
One example I would give where there's no context or so little guidance. There's a mechanic that you can get where you, over time, you get additional skills and abilities. And one of the abilities goes, this will help you open doors with demons embedded in them. There are two types of doors with demons embedded in them, and it works on one and not on the other.
I didn't
mentioned it earlier.
mind that.
That's I'm just using that as an example to say, like, that's how lack of information you're given.
I like that. That's I don't know how to.
I know.
It's just.
I know what you're saying. Like,
it's frustrating because it's very good, and there are just things that are stopping me.
I know what you're saying. Like, you don't want to be guided per se. Perhaps I used the wrong word, and we're getting hung up on that. But what I'm trying to say is, there is nothing to give you the bare minimum information you would need to play the game. At the end of the day, people are there to play a game.
What I consider like hand holding would be like, so I played through both God of Wars on my stream.
Yeah.
And when you're playing, like we started like, it started becoming a joke in my chat where like how much Atreus would try to like tell you what to do.
Yeah, tell you the puzzle before you've even gotten to it, and you're like,
yeah,
oh,
and it's
cool,
like
bro.
I would get so annoyed while I'm playing, like, oh my god, just give me a chance to figure it out first before you fucking tell me, a little twerp.
Yeah. Whereas with the last case of Benedict Fox, it doesn't tell you anything how the mechanics function or anything like that.
That's entirely different. That's
like,
not.
You get the tutorials like press A to jump, and you're like, cool. Oh, this is how you shoot. It tells you how your player character does things, and then anything new thereafter, there's no explanation, there's no context, nothing, and it's loads at once. So you discover these demon doors immediately, and you don't know when you can get it. I put like 9 hours in the game, and I still don't know if I'm supposed to be able to open the doors by now, or have discovered it by now, or if it's later in the game. So you can't see going back going, can I do this yet? Like when I got that ability to open the demon doors, I went to one of these doors and it didn't work. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's the other one. And it worked with the other one. I'm like, okay. So it's a lot of people.
It doesn't even tell you need to push the button and pull backwards to open the demon door.
Is that the finger doors?
No, the finger doors is actually story progression in order to get to the finger door. There are obviously some very talented people in there, and I don't want them to fail because there is so much goodness in there.
If you play it, the scenarios are very distinct, so you can literally just like Google the last case of Benedict Fox finger doors, and then you'll have something tell you specifically about the finger doors and stuff like that. You'll be able to describe it in Google and not have to follow a step-by-step guide. You'll just be able to look those things up. Probably because loads of people have gone, what the fuck do I do with this particular part? It's just so much is obfuscated. But if you implemented a means to guide the player in a way that they're not just trying literally everything to discover how to do the thing,
like Pixel Hunter, when you're just clicking on the screen. What the problem is, like when you're looking at a playthrough because you got stuck, I worry that people are just going to go through the playthrough and they're going to miss out on the good parts of the mystery of that game.
Right.
Which is why I'm suggesting you just Google the specific thing that you're looking for and just find out that rather than following a step-by-step guide.
No, don't even do that, because that thing might be a lot further on than
That's why I was asking, like, would it be smarter to have have it on hand and just avoid utilizing a walkthrough at all costs?
I would say use it as a last resort, because if you do manage to work something out,
that's what I was asking, because so it's not a bad idea to just like, Because like there are certain games like I'll have a walkthrough just pulled up. I'm not looking at it, but it'll be pulled up on my other monitor, and it's like, oh shit, I don't even know where the fuck to go.
Yeah.
And so then you just like you have it there, and I'll just control F because I try to avoid spoilers as much as possible. I don't like video guides. Like sometimes can be like pain in the ass to navigate.
I usually avoid video
minutes.
guides to avoid spoilers.
The 10-minute mark.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wonderful game. It's very well written. The art style is done extremely well. The voice acting, everything is fantastic. It's
the voice acting is not fantastic at all.
I think it is. Like, I don't think it's world class, but I don't.
Excuse me, Brian.
It's definitely not bad.
Fantastic.
There is one or two characters that are well voice acted, but most of them are the room level. It's not detrimental at all. There's no. It doesn't pull you out. It doesn't break the game, and it doesn't make you hate it. But there is
enough to pull you to comment on it.
Is awful. The tattoo lady, where you get your tattoos?
Yeah, I think she's fine.
She's awful. She's one of the worst. And I don't know if it's not direction. I think it's because it's not English isn't native language. So I'm wondering if I think it's Polish.
Oh, is it Polish?
I think it might be.
No idea.
Maybe the original voice actor acting is much better, and there are one or two voice actors, and you're like, "Oh, that's good," or "Oh, that's not tearing me out of this scene for a second." But most of the voice, even the main character, at points, I'm like, "Ooh, oh hi, Mark, good doggy."
I thought it was fine, and like I can be quite critical of it, but personally speaking, I thought it was fine. Like overall, TLDR. Fantastic game if you invest the time to do everything and work out completely on your own.
It's a flawed gem.
Yeah, there are definitely flaws, but otherwise, if you don't, if you're the sort of person who's just like, you know what, I want to be bamboozled completely and work it out all for myself, you're probably gonna have a great time. But for like a casual person who just wants to have fun and play a game and just solve a couple of puzzles and be like, oh yeah, I did that, that's cool, it's going to be very perplexing. And
it's not a Metroidvania at all.
Yeah, I don't like that that's a term that's like kind of been, you see it so often on Steam, everything's like...
Yeah, but it's usually applicable. For this, it is not.
No, I mean, I think it's just like, as soon as they see like platforming, side-scrolling,
Yeah, this was on their press releases and stuff, though. Oh yeah, sorry, full disclosure, I got a key for the game.
That's fair.
It's free anyway on Game Pass.
Yeah. It just has to disclose it because laws.
Oh, you have to disclose it
legally. Yeah, legally. Yeah. I got monetary value.
Yeah. So moving on. Hope, you played Redfall.
I did play Redfall, and that was an experience all in of itself. So I went on Game Pass, so I did not pay $70 for this garbage. I actually had almost a full. I was trying to get a fourth player. I only got 3, including myself.
Oh, you were the 3 playing it.
The 3 people on
It
Steam.
should have been the 3 of us, probably. We probably could have all 3 done it, and then we would have had a fourth over there with that asshole in the other room. But we got stuck on the loading screen. Like the loading screen looks a lot like Left 4 Dead, or not Left 4 Dead, Dead by Daylight.
Right.
It looks a lot like Dead by Daylight, where like you have all the characters show up. And what I do like that they offered is, is that you, everyone can pick the same character if you wanted to. Right. So I do like that, like they don't lock you in, like, oh, if you have like your fourth player shows up and it's like, mother, I don't want to be them. Right. So I do appreciate that they offered that. And the one I played had like the drone or the robot, whatever the hell, and she was like categorized as the healer. I didn't get far enough to unlock like her, like all of her skills. We got stuck on the main like loading screen for a long time.
Right.
And then eventually all 3 of us started it up again. Then we ran into a game-breaking bug where like we walked into, you have to go through this area. There was this cool part, like you started off on the boat. Oh, I have to include this. My other 2 players, they were getting this opening cutscene. I was just dropped in.
Right.
So they were like stuck. I was like, okay, see you guys, bye. I didn't get this opening cutscene at all.
Right.
So maybe I got the bug probably. So my player, I couldn't go anywhere because I couldn't leave without my teammates. But I did go around, and you start off on this like this boat, and they had like all this water like was frozen. It was kind of dope. And then you end up at this fire station, and out of nowhere, one of my teammates is like, "There's a vampire downstairs." And we go downstairs, and there's a vampire, and I guess like we were supposed to kill him for the quest, but he was just frozen, just there. And then we got the quest information that we had to go back down there. Then he was gone.
Right.
And apparently we had all these players or all these like NPCs in the fire station that wasn't supposed to be there. And so we didn't know what to do anymore. We were like, okay, is it broken? So we started again. And it was nice that it dropped us right back where we started, or where we left off, and we managed to get through. This game is, there's a lot of problems with it.
Right.
It's very empty.
Yes, I watched this
as we already knew.
Yeah, I watched
everyone just confirming it's very empty. There's not, I mean, there is like it is a looter shooter in an essence. Like all of us were getting different, weapons and stuff. Honest to God, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember much about our experience. We did 2 or 3 missions afterwards, and I remember we went to like a movie theater for one of them where we had to play the theater, and it wouldn't let us continue unless all 3 of us were there.
Right.
And we were my UI, you can't see it on the footage from my VOD. I'm in the way of the UI. All of my UI information was overlapping. So I couldn't tell like what the fuck every button it was I had to push, because I rekeyed it, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is just like I would accidentally hit the wrong button because I didn't know like which one was which.
Right.
It was just it's very like you're basically their beta testers. Like it's not good. It's not good. I, honest to God, like after we lost our 3rd player, like he was like, all right, I'm done, I gotta go to bed or eat. Both Kevin and I were like, we're done. This game is just not fun. And we were gonna have a 4th player and try to like get more people and try to see like have the full experience of like what the intention was. But I mean, graphically, it's nothing to write home about. Obviously there's some pretty bad bugs, and we already knew this going in. However, it's like co-op games are fun. Like usually they're fun. Like you want to play a co-op with your friends and go through the whole experience. And like I think everyone's been trying to scratch that Left 4 Dead itch ever since since we're not getting a Left 4 Dead 3. And it's like, I think I prefer Back 4 Blood over this.
Right.
But that's not saying much. I did not like Back 4 Blood at all. I barely got anywhere in
Back 4 Blood was pretty finished when it came out.
It was finished.
It wasn't buggy.
But I'm talking content wise, because like this what they were trying to do over Back 4 Blood was like Back 4 Blood was trying to do the Left 4 Dead formula where they had like the stages and it was divided up into 4 segments. This is just open world, but like kind of. It's so lackluster that you might as well just like, fuck all, like do fuck all with the whole like if they actually did it in the same formula of having like just stages, it probably would have been a lot better. But when you try to like push for this open world kind of aspect, it doesn't really work, because like you go around and like there's nothing to look at. There's nothing significant. Everything looks the same. We would get lost. We lost each other constantly. I know at one point I would like hide up in the rafters. He was like, how'd you get up here? I'm not fucking telling you, because I don't know how I got up here.
Like, I don't know. It just happened. I T-posed and here I am now.
Oh yeah, that happened too. I remember it was like Kevin. It was like Kevin or my our other teammate who was like, both of you are T-posing right now.
Yeah. So it's basically.
And then I went through the floor a couple times. Oh, I fell off I clipped through the whole stage a couple times. Like it's Bethesda is some. They should be proud.
Falling in line.
TLDR, it's garbage.
Right.
It's $70 garbage. I would I played this for free, and I demand my money back.
Right. Yeah, so to summarize some of the criticisms that I've seen, I also watched the skill up video and obviously follow a bunch of reviewers and try to get an all-round thing. As you mentioned, it's apparently very, very empty. Skill up shows up in his video that in this open world, you're in this town, you can walk for like 2 to 5 minutes at a time and not see a single enemy in this vampire infested town. There is no infestation. There's 1 or 2 vampires and things like that. He was playing a sniper class where it can go into stealth, and like you'd come across a boss and go into stealth, get a sniper rifle out,
you
and then
actually
one-shot
look
it.
at the VOD. You could see the bug we're talking about with the vampire that was just stuck there.
Yeah. So there'll be
we didn't know what to do.
There's like quests where you have to go into a building, and you're like, oh, it's going to be probably like an arena style thing where there's going to be loads of monsters. There's no monsters, and then you're like, oh, I have to turn on this projector. I imagine there's going to be hordes of monsters when I turn on the projector. No, there's no hordes of monsters. Like the bosses can get one shot depending on your class and things like that. The bosses can be
none of the bosses were like anything to write home about, and you can see we're stuck in this basement, not sure what the hell is going on.
Yeah, there's a boss called the Rook or something like that, where a bunch of lightning appears, and then it will summon this like beefy vampire. You jump onto a car, and then his AI goes, "Oh, I don't know what to do. You're on a car," and then he just stands there, and then you shoot him, and he dies, and it's just stupid shit like that. And of course, it's a buggy mess.
Yeah, there was like one where we had to go. I just remember this one stage. It was really dark, and I don't even know where the hell we were. There was so little like information. Like it's just like, well, I mean, they do here's the thing is like they gave you a lot of like lore, like little letters to pick up and stuff. And the unfortunate thing is you don't really give a shit. Like, and I'm not saying that because I didn't like the game. It's like you're running around trying to find all this shit, and they're trying to do lore, like world building with all these letters everywhere, and it's like you don't care about any of these characters. You don't like. I don't even know what my own character's name was because they're so NPCs. It's so lackluster of an environment, and I know like, and I took it as like, do you know how like when you play Left 4 Dead 2 or I think 1 and 2, I played more 2 than 1, so like forgive me if I'm not.
2 included all of 1 anyway, so
yeah, that's true. But you know how you would start in the safe house, and you could take a moment and like look at all the graffiti on the walls, and it kind of like gave you some world building. It was kind of humorous and jokey, and I think that that's what they were trying to do with all of the letters that were strewn everywhere. And I read a few of them, and I was like, I don't fucking give a shit. Yeah. Jesus Christ. It was, like you're at that point. And then there was like another point where like we went back down, like my other teammate was like, there's blood in the basement out of nowhere, but we had no idea what the hell was going on. There was like, we were given some item that we had no idea what to use. It's such a bizarre game. Like it felt so unfinished. And like if this was like a shitty indie game, I would forgive all the flaws, but this is Bethesda.
Not just Bethesda,
Arcane.
but Arcade Studios.
Yeah, it's like these are, it's Arcane. Like what the hell happened?
That's the worst thing about this is that Arcane's name is tied to it, and nobody will remember which side studio of Arcane. It's Arcane.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter who takes
thing.
responsibility either, because all you're thinking is Arcane made this mess.
Yeah, and that helps us segue into the next part of this topic, because obviously, when you are familiar with a particular studio and you've played a number of their games and they've essentially been massive hits, the best in their genre, the immersive sim, and this has been marketed as an Arcane game, an open world immersive sim. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is more of an immersive sim than the game by the studio that makes immersive sims. So that expectation has been completely missed, and thus that's resulted in people just regaling against it, saying, no, this is wank. Why are we playing this thing that's from the studio that is beloved and is also backed by Microsoft and has Microsoft money behind it? And then it's been shipped.
Microsoft mock reviews.
Yeah, and it's been shipped out in this horrible, buggy, and
the thing is, like,
state.
I can look past bugs. Like sometimes, like, T-pose for dominance is always funny, like for everyone. Like, and you know, we've already brought up like, you know, with the same subject, like CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk, but I don't put them on the same level. Don't get me wrong, because like PG and I both love that game. I almost platinum that game. I love it so much.
I think I'm 260 hours in that now.
Oh, geez. You might have me beat, to be honest. I can actually even check right now. I have 421
Hours. Nice.
hours.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I leave my games on sometimes and walk away.
Oh.
But I have like I
What
think I
about
have
the
like
planet? How dare you?
well, no, like I'll be like I have to cook or something. But it's like I have 3 achievements away from like platinum the thing. Like I love the game, but when the game came out, it was objectively unfinished. It was there was a lot of bugs, and at least me personally, and I'm sure you and a lot of everyone else were able to laugh at those bugs because, I mean, with the exception of a few game-breaking ones, they were just kind of goofy. And with this though, it's like this game feels, it's not just that it's buggy as hell and empty, it's just lackluster. It's so uninspired. And like the funny thing is like, so I said that, you know, I worked on the transcribing the reveal trailer for this, or the announcement trailer when it first, like back when, and I didn't get the footage. I didn't see anything. I just was listening to it, which is not the most ideal. But I'm listening to it. I was like, huh, they're like hyping the shit out of this. Like I was struggling with some of the names on some of the characters because like I couldn't see them because sometimes like they'll have graphics on the, and they're like talking about like how, you know, how cool they are, and like all these characters have backstories. Like one of them had a vampire boyfriend. I don't know which one anymore. But like they had all this like information that they're trying to give to you and try to present this world to you, and it's like it's unique and interesting. But like I said, it's just such an uninspired, lackluster game. On top of that, buggy, unfinished, and empty, that it's like, why should anyone care about this?
Right.
Like it seems like you put more effort in trying to make us care than making a game that we should care about.
Yeah. And there's clearly been some kind of disconnect. And then Phil Spencer did an interview. I can't remember who he did it with, actually. I should know that. But he did an interview, and in the interview, he was, at least to me, surprisingly candid. Because usually when you have someone who is especially higher up, or in this case, like the head of the division of that company, it's always like, oh yeah, well, it's not what we were expecting, but the team did really, really well, and they did this, and they put their heart and soul into it, and here's lots of positive, and let's just turn a positive spin. Whereas Phil was basically like, yeah, it didn't quite match our internal expectations. Like internally, we thought it was a lot better. Well, they did internal reviews, and their internal reviews were better than the external reviews, the general public. And then he was like, we are actually really disappointed that we haven't been able to meet gamers' expectations, and you know, we're going to look into it. We're going to keep supporting it, which I think they should just drop it and just move on, to be honest. I don't think it can be rescued. And he then went on to discuss Microsoft or Xbox more specifically, and the direction they're taking, and their like ethos in the whole, like particularly the console market. Because obviously you've got the whole, oh, it's Xbox versus PlayStation, oh, console wars, if you're invested in console wars.
Just reignite the console wars.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think console wars are fucking stupid, and if you invest in that kind of thing, you're a moron.
They're utterly ridiculous.
Me too, but that's because I've got a PC. It doesn't bother
well,
me or
I have
affect
both,
me at
and
all.
I started as a console gamer. Like
Everyone started as a console gamer, though.
Everyone,
right?
I guess so, but like it took me. It wasn't until like 2018 I started playing on PC because I grew up pretty poor, you know.
Yeah.
Are you
So,
saying
like,
only the poors play console?
No, I mean,
you,
like I didn't even have my own computer for like the longest time, like that kind of stuff. Like it wasn't really like we have one computer we all shared in the one household, so computer gaming wasn't really a thing that could be accomplished.
Yeah.
But so when it came to like, I ended up like preferring PC over console, and I could understand like why people prefer PC over console, but I don't have a favorite of any of the consoles. Like the only one I don't have is Xbox.
Yeah.
The whatever the one is.
But you got
now.
a PC, so you can play their exclusives anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I don't need an Xbox now, unless I wanted Fable 2, because I know that's available on Game Pass, which is rude that it's not on PC.
And that's the
but
thing.
like you don't need a you don't need a game. You don't need an Xbox if you have a PC. So I technically have all 3 systems.
And that's the thing. Phil was basically saying, like, I'm paraphrasing, we don't give a fuck about the console wars. We're not trying to compete with Sony. Sony's winning the console war. We don't care. We're invested in Game Pass and being able to have our games available in multiple platforms. Yeah, they obviously they will, because they put their exclusives first.
No,
anyway.
I know.
That's
It's
their
like
mantra.
if they're so focused on Game Pass, put that on my PC. God damn it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They were like, we want to be able to have it so gamers can play their games across multiple platforms. Yes, we have a console, but we're not trying to win the console war. We don't care about the console war. It's just another place to play our games. And that has infuriated the Xbox fanboys. They have gone ham on that. And he explained it, in my opinion, very, very well. And it makes sense as well. So, like, obviously Sony are going in on, like, PlayStation, and they want to be the top dog. And it's very clear they do. But Phil was just like, that's not what we're trying to do. We do think we should make excellent games, but we're not trying to make the best games to sell our consoles. We're just trying to make good games, and in this regard with Redfall, we've made a bad game, and we're going to try and improve it and, you know, elaborate on that. But TLDR, like XBOTS as they're commonly called, I suppose, or colloquially called, they are furious with Phil because he was like, yeah, we don't know why the console wars are a thing, because we don't give a fuck about it, so why do you? Essentially. But yeah,
the only problem,
but
like,
it's so clear that they've been focused on Game Pass for like a while, ever since they announced Game Pass.
I think so as well. But
my
fanboys are gonna
problem
fanboy.
with what Phil Spencer said is he did say a lot of stuff that you do not hear. CEOs and stuff, you do not hear them saying that at all. The problem is with Redfall in particular, there is no way they didn't know when that went out that it wasn't.
No, I agree.
He actually,
zero chance.
He actually remarked on that.
I fully agree with that. I told you guys last recording that I wanted to check it out. We were all pretty much convinced that the game was gonna be terrible, but it's like you wanted to see like firsthand how bad it actually was gonna be. There is zero chance in hell that they did not know that this was coming out, and to the fucking nerve to ask people for $70 for that shit it's insulting at best.
He did actually remark on that because someone said, like, surely you must have been aware of some problems and you know, etc., etc. And he said, when you're making AAA games, you've got to meet the expectations of shareholders. And this is another reason I really recommend watching Alanah Pearce's video about it, because to very quickly summarize, the reason release dates get announced isn't for the consumers, it's for the shareholders. So when a release date is announced, that is because you're contractually trying to meet something for your stakeholders. You're saying, when this gets announced, this is when you're getting money. And it also gets to a point where you can make a game and you have to make a decision where you got to go, we have to release it to make that money. And obviously there's an argument to be had opposing that, saying, well, you've already got infinite money, look who you are, you can just delay it and get it to a point where it will make more money later down the line. But because of that stakeholder expectation, they've got to go.
I feel like it's different when it's more of like a Western like developer as well too, because like we don't see that much with, I don't know, don't quote me on that. Like I feel like you don't see it as much as like with From Software or like, you know, just a lot of these other like, you know, Eastern developers, at least in my opinion. Because I've for example, like a perfect example of like meeting a deadline would be Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. Like that's one of that Obsidian legitimately ran out of time because they were trying to meet a deadline. And it feels like, you know, Redfall might be, you know, what's like Cyberpunk, I feel kind of fell victim to that. A lot of these like games, and that counts as AAA, right?
Yeah.
Star Wars, yeah.
The thing that Phil was saying is
that I might be this or anything.
So what he was saying is essentially like they got to a point where they weren't sure if they could make the necessary improvements that they thought should be in the game within a reasonable time period. And sometimes, not necessarily with Redfall, but with developing games, you reach a point where there's diminishing returns and you go, you've just got to release it.
Just kind of like cut your losses.
Yeah, you got to go, we've invested this money, let's just release
mean,
it back into the
yeah,
wild and
but
say how that's how it is.
That
And-
isn't our problem.
No, I get
Yeah,
that.
it's not our problem.
But
I
the
could see that
surprising
from
thing
his
is
perspective, where like,
he said that.
especially
He
with the
said it.
game.
It is surprising he said it, but it doesn't change the fact that we're not the shareholders.
Yeah.
We're the gamers.
Yeah, and that's why like you see like one of the top reviews for Redfall is we're not your beta testers. Like people, it's not our fucking problem. I do respect that he was willing to be candid about that. I do appreciate that he said that. And I do feel in the case of like with Redfall, when it comes to like where do you cut your losses, it's like this is a perfect example of a game like no one really asked for it.
Yeah.
And they probably knew that investing much more time into it wasn't going to be, they're not going to be enough of a return that warranted that kind of that kind of effort and additional time and money spent into it. So but I see it doesn't make sense to me at the same time where it's like, so you're willing to sacrifice your reputation by sending it out like that, because now all of us, like just Peachy just saying like, whichever one of you said it about like it having Arcane linked to it, who do we actually blame in this case? I mean, we all know Bethesda's shit. Like when that they're not risking anything. Arcane risked it. So when you're going like, well, we'll cut our losses, boo-hoo, like, it's not worth putting in the effort, but we kind of get shit in return, but the people who ended up actually taking the hit the most was Arcane in this case.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
their name's on it. Their name is
that's so
tainted.
I do appreciate and respect that he was willing to be candid about that.
It was really nice to see. Like I was complaining a lot.
I respect that. I have a lot of respect for that. But it is an infuriating statement where it's like, well, you got to cut your losses somewhere. Yeah, on the backs of those developers, man.
Yeah.
Like, because now they're fucked.
And to be clear, we're not saying, "Oh yeah, Phil, you're the man. Thanks for like doing that."
No. I'm trying to say like this is how I feel about it.
Yeah.
This is just directly how I feel. It's like I respect that you're open and willing to be candid about shit like this. It's very rare to see in the industry, and it's great to see in the industry, and we need more of it.
Yeah.
However, it is an infuriating statement because what you're just saying is that we're going to cut our losses, but we're also going to fuck over the developers who worked on this because you don't like we already know like how shitty developers are treated.
That's true. We can get a refund. The developer's name has been dragged through the mud.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying is like, so realistically, we're not losing shit. Like I played on Game Pass. So like, it doesn't hurt me in any way. Like I was already paying for this service. So I got to try this game for free, and I can, I will explicitly say, do not spend your money on this. Do not waste your money on this. But who does that harm in the end? It's not us. If you did end up buying it, like, I mean, that's on you. You're the idiot when you've been being told multiple times.
No,
you're
not the idiot to have some optimism that somebody would put out.
Sorry, not the idiot, but you're the one who's losing out. It's your money. You pay. You use it how you see fit. Sorry.
No need to apologize. He was just adding to your point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I'm saying it's like because I say that about myself. Like I bought some dumb shit, and I'll be like, well, at the end of the day, I'm the dumbass who spent the money. So like that's
I went to
kind
Costco.
I mean, I've like because I spent my money on dumb shit, and I would fail to see the return, or I'll try to be optimistic about a game or something, and then you end up playing it. It's like, God damn it, dude! And then I always tell myself like, well, I'm the dumbass who spent the money. I made the decision to spend my money that way. So like, if that wasn't an offense to anyone. I'm like, I don't. If you like the game, you like the game. Like my shitty opinion shouldn't affect that.
She's gone secular. It's okay. Go on.
No. I'm sorry. I'm just like trying to like save face.
No need, don't worry. But to tie this topic up, basically go watch the Phil Spencer interview. It's insightful.
It is.
I found it incredibly interesting.
Even if you hate corporations like I do, like it did take me a while to go, okay, fair play, Phil, but still, you are wrong.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, fair play.
That's where I'm landing on. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go secular. Like,
no, all good.
It was more like that's where I'm landing on. It's like I can respect what he's saying, and that is very nice of him to like be open with his audience. There's a lot that bothers me about that.
No, I get what you're saying. 100%. Like from a consumer point of view, it's bad, but from a insight point of view, it's good. Go check it out. Brilliant video. We'll move on though, because we've got a couple of subjects we want to cover, and we are slightly over time. How are you two for time, by the way? Obviously, Peachy, have you got slightly more time than normal?
We're dipping into that.
Right, fair play. So moving on, with regards to the Summer Games Fest, the Xbox Showcase, the PC Gaming Show, the blah, 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 all the things that are happening throughout June, we are going to be, Fully Rendered are going to be covering as much of it as we can as possible. We will be covering the Summer Games Fest show, which is the Summer Games Fest, and I believe another thing directly after it. We'll try and cover Xbox, which I believe is on the Sunday on the 11th or 12th, something like that. And I think there's a couple of other things as well. We're going to put a timetable out. We'll try and co-stream it, so all three of us are watching. If one of us can't make it, we'll try and get a guest, or if necessary, it will just be one or two of us just to cover it off. I always enjoy co-hosting it because, one, it means you avoid the toxic chat of the actual channel that you're watching, and it also means you get to like live react with people. It's cool. So we're going to be trying to do that, so do keep an eye out for the tweets. Follow the Fully Rendered Twitter, which is at Fully Rendered TV, because someone had Fully Rendered for some reason and doesn't use it. Fuck them. But yeah, follow the Twitter. We'll put timetables out and things like that, and we'll co-stream and live react to it. Moving on though, have you guys been watching any of the Darkest Dungeon footage?
No.
I've
so
been,
good.
My fiance plays Darkest Dungeon. He bought it for me to check out. I've been meaning to play it. I was actually meaning to play it on stream because I think some people want me to check it out, probably because they want to see me rage. But
I've just put this on, and I'm already half-mast. It's so good. It's so good. Like,
So
the animations look fantastic. I loved the art style of Darkest Dungeon, and I loved the play, like the
art
gameplay
style's
loop
so
and stuff
good,
like that.
dude.
And they've made it 3D, and it works so well. I love the animations, like when you hover over an ability, like the NPC or the character model will like prep and stuff like that, and just like, okay, you want me to throw a grenade? I've got it ready. And then you'll hover on another ability, and they're like, oh, I don't want the grenade anymore, and they'll pull out the knife instead. And it just looks so smooth. Footage provided by IGN, by the way, if anyone's wondering. But yeah, it's gone to a more roguelike nature rather than the previous one where you'd basically spend a lot of time. It's more of you give it one go and you just try and get as far as you can. And then, oh, you've got a backup team. Team B can take over from where Team A left off. It's more of you make a team, you get as far as you can, and if you fail, you fail. So it's a bit more roguelike, which has put off a few people. But I think it looks phenomenal, and it has the atmosphere and just the dopamine hits when you win, and like the sadness and the fury when RNG punches you in the dick, that kind of thing. I am really stoked to play this. Have you guys got any interest in Darkest Dungeon?
No, like I said, I've been meaning to play. I have it. So I've been meaning. My backlog is ridiculous if it's not obvious. But I know my fiance really likes Darkest Dungeon, and I watched him play it a lot, and it looks like so much fun. The art style is so cool.
Right.
And I'm looking at this footage, like seeing it in 3D, it suits it so well. It reminds me a little bit of like Borderlands-esque in a way, like how kind of like when it spins around, like kind of feels like that. But I'm gonna keep an eye on it, especially once I finally get around to playing the first one.
I actually had a
Sorry,
mod.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Peachy.
I actually had a mod for the first one where it replaced all the models with like anime girls kind of thing, and it was really funny, but it kept it in the art style. But they had really funny animations. Like one of them, if you got hit, it was like this paladin woman, and she'd just do like I don't actually know how to pronounce it, but the Ohayego face or whatever you call it. So she'd get hit by something and she'd just go like that, and it proper tickled me. There was some not safe for work stuff in there, which I thankfully discovered like 4 to 5 minutes before I went live with the mod, and I was like, holy shit, some girl whips out a poon kind of thing, and I'm not kidding. So I was not even kidding, so I was like, quick, remove those files kind of thing. But like, yeah, it was a really good mod. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Darkest Dungeon. Peachy, do you have any interest in it?
So when the original Darkest Dungeon came out in early access, originally, I played so much of it, and I got bored of it before it even released. So I'm not even remotely interested in number 2.
Really?
Why did you get?
Yeah.
What bored you about it?
I I played it
Just
too much.
darkest dungeon fatigue, basically.
I mean, that's a fair
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah, and that just I'm like, okay, meh. It is interesting that it's a roguelike now. That you don't have to try and manage the stuff, because that was some of the more tedious parts about managing a team, and better build up the B team so they can. And I just before it was released, I got bored of it, but I did play a lot.
Yeah,
because it was out in early access for a while. But nah, not for me anymore.
that's fair play.
Fair.
I'll
That's fair.
eventually be playing it, and I'm very much looking forward to when that time is. But likewise, backlogs, it's going to be a wee while. The next game is Age of Wonders 4. Have any of you seen the footage of that?
I haven't had a chance to look at that, no.
No, I haven't.
Age of Wonders 4 is, I think it's come out as of the last few days. It's released. That's all I know. It's released. It's apparently, like, I've watched a few streams of it, but apparently it's like astronomically good. And from what I've seen, it is. Like, it's a cross between like your Heroes of Might and Magic and like your 4X games.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much depth to it. There's something to think about, and there's always a mechanic or some kind of facility to do a thing that you would expect to have to do when you're managing armies and managing towns. Like, it's really immersive in how much control you have over stuff. I was watching Bike Man play it the other day, and he was playing, I don't know what the race was called, but it was basically like Skaven rat people, and he turned them into White Walkers, and he ended up getting a ability where you could your town, or one of your towns, could learn it, and winter would spread from the town and actually like terraform and turn the surrounding stuff further and further out progressively over time into like a winter landscape, which would benefit you but have a negative impact on invading armies and stuff like that. And visually it looks really, really cool. Like, are either of you into like these types of games, or been like a big fan of Heroes of Might and Magic perhaps, or maybe Civilization when it comes to 4X, things like that?
I dip my toe. I like a bit of that.
I've had a few like in the past. Not recently though. I need to be like in the mood.
Right.
So, and I haven't been in the mood for a while. So
No, that's fair play. I'm the same. Like, when Civilization 6, whatever the latest one is, when that came out, like I played it for a good like 2 weeks solid, didn't touch it for like several months, and then played it for like 2 weeks solid again, kind of thing. It just happens, it hits you, and you're like, I have to play this game monstrously, just perpetually, kind of thing. And I know for me, when I get in the mood for this type of game, I know I'm just gonna lose myself into it. I'm really looking forward to what we can do in the game. But for those,
I haven't managed to check any of it yet. I'm out of office, so
yeah, that's fair. When you're back in office, turn your out of office off and watch some of these videos, these streams, because it's a very, very fun looking game. Moving on, do you remember Humanity?
Yeah, the one we were talking about last episode or episode before.
It was I think it was a few episodes ago, where it's basically like
yeah,
Lemmings
it sounds
game.
familiar.
So you're like this little spirity Shiba dog, and you've got to lead this line of humans that are perpetually spawning, and it's similar.
Oh yeah, you two were talking about this.
Yeah, and we were talking about how it's very similar to a game called Lemmings. This is releasing on May 16th. So I remember you were watching this and you were like, this is weird as fuck, but it looks amazing and I want to play it, kind of thing. So just so you know, you will be able to play it on May 16th. I want to give it a go.
It still looks weird as fuck, and I want to play.
Yeah, so for those not familiar with the Lemmings games, you basically have a starting point that just keeps spawning like these humanoid lemmings, and you've got to get them from point A to point B, and you've got to traverse the landscape. And it's the same with this game, where it's just a crowd of humans just perpetually walking. You've got to lead them through like this landscape, and essentially like it's a puzzle, and you will be able to do certain actions that will make them behave in certain ways, like swimming and jumping through water and going on trampolines and flying through the sky like that and things like that. And obviously some of them are going to fall off the edge if you're not doing it properly. So it looks really intriguing. And I imagine it's going to be a game where you can just sit back and just fuck around, like probably play it one-handed, where you just got your mouse on that, like on your hand on your mouse, and you're smoking a cigarette or having a drink, and just like, this is chill as fuck, dude, kind of thing. You know? Do you know what I mean? And you're just gonna have a good time. So I'm really looking forward to that. And so, in case anyone was wondering, coming out on May 16th, are you guys gonna probably give it a go?
I mean, it looks, like I said, it looks weird as fuck, and I'm really interested in it. I'm just watching his gameplay, and I'm so transfixed by it.
And that's the thing, like,
that's the only way I could. Where it's like the people are sheep.
yeah, pretty much. And it, like, see here, it looks like they're jumping into each other now, and now they're like causing congestion, and it's just like, oh, how do you get around that kind of thing?
I'm getting wicked sheepdog vibes from this, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, I'm very, very much looking forward to it. The next thing to talk about is what we've played. So, Pope, I believe. Sorry, Peachy, you gonna say something?
Yeah, let's have Peachy go first.
I've been playing Cyberpunk again.
I've noticed that whenever I look at Discord.
I'm like, I need to play it again, and it's the first time I've played it where they have the outfits saved. Right. So now you can put on whatever you want.
I forgot they have that.
But you can play Fashion Punk, and it's. I think it's running better as well since they did the overdrive stuff. I tried the overdrive, 12 frames a second.
Where did they say that we were supposed to be, Peachy? Didn't they say we were supposed to be getting a DLC soon?
DLC is coming.
Have you heard anything about that? I haven't.
I think it's August.
It's only the announce. I've
okay.
Heard. It looks. I don't even know if we're going to be V or not. I don't know, but I will be playing it for sure. Oh yeah, Idris Elba's in it.
Idris Elba, Idris Elba is going to be in it. Yeah, it looked cool. I've been waiting for it. It's just because I think the last time I played, I remember there was like when they added the I forgot what feature they added to it, and they reset all of your skill points. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember they reset all of your skill points?
They tweaked a lot of the skill stuff. I'm currently being a ninja, but also assault rifles.
Yeah, I remember I loaded it up because my first character was a brawler. I used the gold bat and the gorilla fist, gorilla hands or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And I just remember I logged in. I saw my skill points were like I had to reallocate them. I was like, fuck this.
I have so many playthroughs in that game. I don't even know what number I'm on anymore.
I think I've gone through like 3 or 4. So
I'm way past that.
You probably passed me.
I've had to play that intro so many times, and I'm still sad every time he dies.
I know.
Every time. But that's what I've been playing.
Our boy.
Oh, wait, I haven't said anything Warhammer this episode, so
okay.
I have a box of Citadel skulls. Okay.
You had to get it in there.
You just say like, I have a box. There is things in the box.
I can put Warhammer on the thumbnail.
All right, there you go. So, just Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk Stardew Valley. Benjamin. I was just looking at your VODs to bring up footage.
No, I haven't played Stardew for ages. It was Benjamin, and
I love Stardew. I've been wanting to play that again with like friends.
I'm just waiting for Bolgan and System Shock, which has gone gold. System Shock has gone gold, by the way.
Ooh, that's good to hear.
Ooh.
Hope you've been playing Jedi Fallen Survivor?
No, I've been playing Jedi Survivor.
Survivor, that's it. I forgot the name.
I was playing it on Jedi Master mode, and there was like one night I played. I was like drinking a little whiskey, and I got stuck for forever trying to find like I don't know where to go. That was when you decide to turn it off.
Right.
But no, I've been really enjoying it. Like I've been playing on PS5, so I've been having no issues. I have been playing it off stream as well. I've been really enjoying it. I will go back to play Fallen Order finally. I started it a long time ago, or like back before it came out, and then I got distracted by something else.
Right.
You know how that goes. I've been playing that, and I feel like there's something else I've been playing. Oh, Animal Crossing.
And Animal Crossing.
I lost my island.
Oh no.
And I'm willing to pay cash money to get it back.
Tom Nook.
I'm willing to buy another 17
Oh, dude,
Switches.
Tom just like walk in, like just like scratching your neck to Tom Nook. Like, come on, man.
Just very quickly then, to summarize, how have you been enjoying Jedi? Or Star
I've
Wars?
been really loving it. I do. So I really like. I've been I've been taking a break from it, but I was playing a lot of Demon Souls for a bit, and I really do just like Souls-like games in general. The my thing is with Jedi is sometimes like I'm trying to get used to parrying in it. And that's why, like I was saying about the issue I was having where I literally titled my last stream for it, which was dodge and then press square, because I was teaching myself how to parry the whole time. And I get to this one monster, like one creature, I don't know what the hell it was. And he was just terribly just kicking my ass so many times.
Was it
And
a
we were doing a
beast?
squat challenge. We've been doing a squat challenge. So every time I died, I had to do 5 squats.
Right, yeah.
And one night I think I got like 27 deaths.
You can bounce quarters off that
I
thing.
know. Well, it's like it's incentive for me, like don't die if you just, and also like other people in my chat take part in it, so we have tried to have fun with that. But it turned out I started learning how to cheese the game. So I was just starting to I was bugging out the monsters every chance I got.
I remember watching you block something through a door because it was too big to get through it, and you were like, haha, and you're just throwing your lightsaber at it. Just like force throwing it and bringing it back. Haha, fuck you. Yeah, I remember that.
Because I think that was the same monster that I was struggling with, because I thought it was one that it was just optional. And then I went into another area and someone in my chat was like, by the way, this one isn't optional. You have to fight this one. I was like, oh no.
Right.
And I came, it's like, no, not again. He choke slammed me. Oh boy.
Yeah,
so, but I'm playing it I am playing it on Jedi Matt. The funny thing is there's a harder difficulty than the one I'm playing. I'm doing so there's 5, so I'm doing the 4th.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and every once in a while I remind myself and chat, I'm like, there's a harder difficulty than this, and I'm this awful.
Yeah, I've heard that the later difficulties, or the higher difficulties rather, are very unforgiving, and you can't actually. So on.
There was a streamer who he wiped on
for
the
like
same
30 hours.
fight.
Yeah.
1,300 deaths. Like that man, the dedication, all the applause belong, like he deserves all the praise. Like that's some dedication, man. Good for you.
Well, that's how Let Me Solar Her was born, wasn't it? He was just like, it took me fucking ages, and then he got it mastered, and then he was like, I will help you.
He got like a sword from Software.
Yeah, he did. That was really, really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when it comes to Star Wars games, like I don't dislike Star Wars. I've watched most Star Wars things at least once. Like I have, like the list that I haven't watched is short. Like it's like the Clone Wars. I think there's another like animated series for Star Wars that I haven't watched. But otherwise, if it comes to games, I'm like, the Star Wars thing doesn't appeal to me. I don't go, ooh, I need to play this Star Wars game.
I kind of prefer the games over the movies. I like Star Wars. I love the lore of Star Wars, and I really like I brought up like KOTOR 2. It's actually one of my favorite Star Wars games. It's one of my favorite Star Wars stories.
Just,
it's so good. And it's like I would love to see them do, a movie about like Revan and just
you do a movie like Kal-Katarn first, okay?
Huh?
Kal-Katarn.
Oh.
Deadly Force. Dark Forces. The boomer shooter one. Oh. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Carry on. But yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, I love the Star Wars lore. I don't like how sometimes especially in like the older ones, how like black and white it can be. But this one, when I was playing it, I was actually even saying like I kind of really wish I went and played Fallen Order first.
Yeah.
I was just getting bullied into playing it. To play this one because I had it, so
right. That's fine.
But it is a lot of fun. I don't think I'm that far yet. So where I'm at, I've only been to 2 planets, I believe, and maybe like a moon.
Yeah.
So there's not like the 2 planets I've been on look very similar. So I kind of was having like some criticisms about that, but I know I'm not far enough, and I've learned that there's more to explore. So I'm going to withhold those criticisms.
Right. But yeah, so like usually when it comes to the games, I go, oh, it's a Star Wars game. I'm not that bothered. Cool. I hope those who are bothered have a great time. Whereas I've been watching people play this, and I've been seeing a good game. I've been looking at this and going, this is an objectively good game, and I now want to play it. Obviously, I'll have to play Fallen Order first, and then play Survivor. But I I don't know. There's something very compelling about it. The story seems to be really good. Again, the voice acting seems to be really good. Things like that. There have been some criticisms with regards to the combat, especially if you're playing at the later levels, because you can't really capitalize on some of the mechanics because they take too long. And the harder difficulties, it's like, no, we're going to fist you, and then fist you, and then fist you, and fist you over and over again. I watched a clip by Anthony Kongfen where he was playing a semi-spoiler. He was playing against two, I forgot what we call them, the thing that's in the movie that Luke has to fight, and he drops the gate on it.
I'm really sorry, but it's 10-1.
Yeah. Okay.
I really have to end.
Yeah, no, I was about to end like after this summary anyway.
I'm so sorry. I was trying.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I talked a little too much this time around. It's my fault. Brian, what have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing Diablo 4 and Lost Epoch, so I'll just finish this point and I was going to wrap up anyway. That was my plan.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So, yeah, he was playing against, like, Rancors is what he was playing against. And one of the critiques about the combat is he was doing a finisher on one of them and he was like, yes, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. He then jumps off, got stuck in the animation, or not stuck, but the animation was recovering from the jump. And while that was happening, the other Rancor started an animation that grabbed him whilst he was in an animation he couldn't dodge or anything out of. And then it just one-shot him.
I've come across that problem
and
before.
He was so mad. And it's just like, in this little shit like that, like, so if you do play it and you want to have a good time, don't play the hard difficulties is what I'm trying to say.
I've come across issues like that myself already. And that's where, like, sometimes, like, it might even be better just to turn it down on occasion if, like, need be, just to preserve, like, some enjoyment. But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this to go too long.
No, we're all good. So shout outs. Pope.
I'm Pulp Fictionally. I'm a former Instagram model turned variety streamer. You can find me on all of my social medias with the exception of Twitter at Pulp Fictionally, and Twitter is Plot Fictionally. And I am not streaming today. I might stream tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then definitely on Monday, and then so on and so forth.
Yep. Cool.
More Star Wars probably.
Thank you. Yeah. And Poochie?
At Peachy Pixelate on Twitter, you can find all my links there.
And when are you next streaming?
Don't know. When I get back, hopefully Thursday.
Cool. And thank you to everyone. Thank you, Pope and Peachy, for joining as always. And thank you to you, the viewers, for watching. We are going to be back in 2 weeks, of course. Like I said, do follow the Twitter, which is at Fully Rendered TV, for when we do the Summer Games Fest footage and stuff like that. If you wish to follow me, I am Brian, the Pirate Brian with a Y, on all platforms. Tomorrow I will be streaming some more of the Diablo 4 Service Slam, so jump in at around about 3 PM BST, maybe a wee bit sooner, to just basically experiment with builds and whatnot. But that's us. Thank you all very much for watching. It has been a pleasure. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, and farewell. We'll remember you.
Bye.
Bye.